A very warm welcome back to the Summer Regional UK Championships. Of course, we've had our first two games in Group A, so now we know who's in the upper bracket and who's in the lower bracket, and we're going to focus next on the upper bracket match. So that means it's Team Liquid versus mYinsanity. Let's go downstairs to the boys and find out what they make of our upper bracket match. And of course, they are led ably on the panel by the man now known as Dedrick Fish.
I'm going to have to think of something in response to that.
That was good.
It was good. I tipped my fedora for now. All right, so as Paul mentioned, it's going to be the upper bracket half for Group A. Team Liquid against mYinsanity, who both have convincingly won their first series, but admittedly, this is the real showdown. This is where some of the higher-rated teams are going to face each other. Tetcher, you've been casting mYinsanity with Kaldor a couple minutes ago. Is there something from a caster's perspective maybe that we didn't really touch, or something that stood out to you?
Well, definitely the fact that we still seem to be able to, or mYinsanity, sorry, still seem to be able to bring in any draft kind of thing. Like, we haven't seen them play Cho'Gath for a long time, and they apparently have just spoke to them, like whether they planned this in advance or whether they just did it on the spot. They just did it on the spot because they knew exactly what the last pick had to really be from the side of casual gaming, and there was not really a counter to it. So mYinsanity still have a huge amount of variance in the amount of heroes they can pick.
Now, we've mentioned a lot about hiding strategies, saving the best for the rest, so to speak, the further you advance in a tournament. Dred, do you think that Team Liquid is a mighty enough foe for Team mYinsanity to sort of unleash a real good strategy that they might have actually saved for something like that?
Possibly. I would say if anybody's going to be the mighty foe that draws a strategy out of somebody else, it would be Liquid is the one who's going to be forced to show their hand a little bit more.
Yeah.
I do think it's
they too
possible.
have to show maybe a strategy that they would like to save.
Yeah, I think it's possible, but I think it's far more likely we see that out of Liquid than we do mYinsanity.
Right. So we've seen a little bit of a different prioritization between those teams. Obviously, Team Liquid, they like their Kel'Thas. Chris feels very confident on that hero. They also like this double support meta. They sort of maybe were inspired by mYinsanity. So in terms of heroes maybe that we haven't really seen too often, is there still something that might be pulled out of the fence?
I think just due to the fact that we, like you said, have seen those priorities, there's a good chance that we could see one of the heroes that usually get in the very high ban priorities, maybe sneaking through, like, for example, the Illidan or the Tyrande could be sneaking back in. We saw it in the last series. Didn't really work too well because the double support Cho'Gath comp is really, really hard to deal with.
Dred, as an American player, where's Zeratul?
Zeratul, he's lost a lot of value. He still has a spot, but he's lost quite a bit of value, and there's not very many European teams who even play Zeratul in the first place. So I don't think we'll be seeing too much of him. Maybe if it makes it to, like Dignitas is one of the teams that kind of run him from time to time, but when powerhouses exist in the game like Dahaka, Kel'Thas, Tyrande right now, Zeratul gains less value than he normally would. So I don't think we'll be seeing too much of him, sadly.
Yeah, and something that is, you mentioned Dahaka, of course a hero that BKB has shown brilliance with over the last couple of weeks. So do you think that taking strong tanks and warriors away from BKB is a way to deal with Team Liquid? Because we've seen both Dahaka and ETC being really, really good in his hands.
The issue with banning stuff away from tanks away from BKB is he always has more. That is the issue. We've seen him play Arthas, we've seen him play Diablo, we've seen him play... There are not enough bans if both teams banned only warriors to get rid of all of the heroes that BKB can play at a really solid level.
Right, so without further ado, guys, before we get lost in theory crafting too much, we're going to take a look at the hype video that we've prepared for both teams. Take it away. Yeah, both teams, they're looking very determined. They are not afraid to bring their best A game to the series. We see the boys from mYinsanity, Darkmog looking very, very calm there, cleaning his power glasses, so to speak. Lal, beautiful hair. Yeah, Team Liquid overall, they are a team that might actually finally be able to stabilize. I think if there is a time for them to show what they got with the current roster and the acquisition of BKB, it's now. They definitely have to make something happen in this very tournament. Chris has always been one of those players to be credited for being one of the best assassin players we've got in Europe, but they need a title, they need a success under their belt to become really top class, don't you think?
I mean, they absolutely must need, like, they need it at this point because they haven't had one for some time. One thing when it comes to this matchup specifically that I'm really looking forward to is it's going to be the first time we have two teams that prioritize Kael'thas very heavily, and whether or not they're afraid to let it through or whether or not they're going to be okay with it and just let it go through and have kind of a counter response, because there are those kind of powerhouses I was talking about before. I feel like there is a strong advantage depending on the map to first or second pick, and whether or not these teams abuse it, I think is very important.
Right, Tetcher, do you think that we may actually see some maps that we haven't seen at all before? For example, Battlefield of Eternity?
I think quite possibly. I think these are two of the teams that will probably try and remove stuff. Like, for example, Liquid, after seeing that match on Battlefield of Eternity, might be a bit less comfortable playing against it. But we've seen teams like Liquid, Dignitas as well, have had a lot of practice in the past against Cho'Gall, but we mentioned this is the first time in a very long time mYinsanity have brought it out. So it's a question of how prepared were you for seeing this?
Yeah, so the thing is, I don't think, let's be honest here, I don't think we're going to see a Cho'Gall immediately again. This is, I mean, it could sort of be a really tricky mind play to sort of say, okay, they're not expecting us to bring it out again, so we're going to bring it out again. But I think Team Liquid is definitely another caliber of opponent they have to face here. Now, coming in, do you think we should see a map where mYinsanity could pull one of their secret guns like the Vikings? Towers of Doom would be a very nice choice for that.
I actually would like to see Liquid be the ones who are like the Vikings, kind of like pulling it out.
Shad
like
is also very good at them,
yeah,
right?
their Dragonshire version. They even prioritize it on maps like Sky Temple at times. I would like to see them, if anybody's going to be worried about pulling out the Vikings, because Towers of Doom, it's universally accepted that Vikings are probably just one of the strongest heroes on that map. So I don't think either one of the two teams would be like, oh yeah, well, we got the advantage. It's just everybody's going to be able to deal with that. But on some of the smaller maps or less common Vikings maps, I want to see Liquid be pulling it out, not mYinsanity.
Yeah, I would completely agree. Liquid would be the ones who would want to bring that out. They also have, you already mentioned heroes, just heroes like the Vikings. They have the Abathur under their belt. This is heroes that both teams can play, but like you said, Liquid have shown it a lot more recently.
Yeah, so let's actually see when the draft is ready. We're going to see what, of course, both teams come up with. Now, looks like it's going to take a little bit because Laul is standing there. So let's maybe go back and take a little bit of a sneak peek of potential opponents coming in from Group B. Do you think that there's any team that could become very dangerous for the winner of this match?
I think every team from Group B could become a big threat for the winner of this match. Both the groups are pretty stacked, but if you look at the names, the amount of history behind the teams in Group B is terrifying.
I agree with you when it comes down to raw skill. One thing I do find really interesting when it comes to this group specifically, I feel like their draft patterns are harder to find than some of the teams that come out from the other groups. So I do think the powerhouses do exist in the other group, and they're very much teams that can take and easily beat some of the teams here. But at the same time, I do like the draft. Now, I wouldn't even say diversity. I feel like that is a part of it, but more the lack of patterns that exist, specifically with Liquid. In my opinion, they're actually the hardest team to really identify exactly what they want to be aiming for out of probably all the teams here.
So once again, the little birdie came flown by and told me that the first map is going to be indeed Infernal Shrines, so no Towers of Doom shenanigans going on. But Infernal Shrines is a really nice neutral map. It can be played in various ways. Sometimes you see split push strategies going on there, like the Zul. Sometimes you see very team-oriented fights. You see a lot of zoning. You see a lot of pulling away, a lot of peeling. So it's one of those maps that's very enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, it is also one of the larger maps, and it's not as common as we used to see it, but it is one of the maps we have sometimes seen, the Abathur or the Vikings. But it's also a map that we have a lot of focus on just globals due to experience soak, Falstad especially, as he's moved very high in terms of ranged assassins lately, and also Dahaka has appeared on this map a lot due to experience soak and due to the fair amount of AoE it provides for shrine fights.
It's kind of the beauty of Infernal Shrines. It's like it has a lot of viable strategies. Like you have to fear the Illidan on this map. You have to fear, you can fear Stunlock. You can fear Wave Clear. There's a lot of different approaches. So I feel like that's why a lot of the teams kind of go towards it and feel very comfortable and at home here. I would like to see mYinsanity move towards that Diablo Kerrigan style when it comes to this map. It's something that they're very comfortable on. I think Tassadar is also going to be a very high contestant here on this map with these two teams.
Yeah, you definitely always want to have a hero that is either very resilient and tanky or very slippery in order to bait those punishers behind the gate, especially early on in the game. That's really important to sort of amplify the damage from the fort and the towers as well. So I think you should always have one of those triggers heroes in your repertoire in this map in particular.
I've been actually really surprised the lack of Zool that we've seen
Yeah,
so far
I
today.
agree. This is weird. Like to be fair, some of the compositions he obviously hasn't worked with, but usually you see him, the compositions are built specifically to fit him in due to the split push, and the closest we have seen is Sylvanas as the range damage dealer in the first game? First or
Yes,
second
the
game?
first set.
Which is about as close as we got, and it did alright other than the fact that it was just very well defended against by Liquid, just leaving people up in the top lane to stop it getting that counter push, which Zool would have a similar effect, but they needed range damage, so yes, I agree, it's a bit weird.
Talking about range damage, I think we have Vala, who hasn't actually seen play all day long either.
Yeah.
So a lot of the heroes that were very contested or very sort of trademark-ish for certain teams in the qualifiers, for example, we saw, I think, the Silence Monkeys relying heavily on Vala, actually not made it all the way through to the final stage here of this tournament. So it's going to be really interesting to see when these teams sort of start to vary and start to get more diverse and pick up heroes that they haven't shown in the previous series.
I think that's kind of the beauty of every regional tournament. No matter where you are, you see kind of a meta like already develop within itself. I mean, Kel'Thas was uncontested for a very long time, and now we see already that he is sitting at one of the highest contested heroes so far here in this tournament. So I think it's just kind of the beauty. You're slowly but surely going to see a meta transition as the days go on, and I think Vala is kind of suffering when it comes to that.
You also have these cool meta in the meta situations within a series. Because sometimes you try to specifically analyze what the opposing team tries to prioritize, tries to sort of ban away from you, and you sort of try to adopt. So I really like the fact that here in the Summer Regionals we have a best-of-3 situation for every single game, whereas in the qualifiers it was more like a hit-or-miss day sometimes, right, with a best-of-1.
Yep, absolutely. Sometimes the best of 3 is always cool to see. We also have some more best of 5s this time. So we have a huge amount of variety we're going to be able to see.
Yeah, semifinals, of course, and the grand final will all be played in a best-of-5. So it's going to be really, really cool to see. We still haven't really had any update on the draft here, so just bear with us here in a bit. I can spoiler a little bit, though. After the game 1, we're going to see a map that we haven't seen all day long.
Yeah.
You tease.
I'm teasing a little bit.
It's that map specifically. I just
Oh, did you get a sneak peek?
yeah.
Oh,
That's not fair. Give me that.
I want to know who picked it. Is all I want to know.
Yes.
Because there's going to be probably a pretty stubborn strategy or a unique strategy coming out to it, but we'll see when we get to that map specifically.
It's going to be good for sure. But for now, let's focus on the draft that we've got going on right now on Infernal Shrines. mYinsanity against Team Liquid. The first ban is going to be going to the hands of Team Liquid. Now, as we mentioned, they prioritize KT, Kel'Thas, the Sun King, quite a bit. So taking something away that is a good counter like Hard Engage, something like, or even a strong supporter against him, something like an AoE healer, Malfurion, Tyrande, all these kind of heroes are sort of a threat. And there we go, Tyrande and Illidan once again being banned away.
Elf
I can't believe they let Kel'Thas go through there.
Yeah,
They don't even pick it, actually. They pick Tassadar instead at this point. That interesting choice.
Well, mYinsanity are definitely going to pick it up. I'm
Yeah,
sure
I
we
don't,
can agree
I don't
on
think
that.
there's any way they let that go through. I'm surprised Liquid decided to go with that Tassadar. I think he's a great pick here, but you can't just one-shot any target you want to with him. I guess I feel like it's just not nearly as valuable as Kel'Thas.
He prevents the one-shotting any targets in most situations.
I think the difference is that Kel'Thas. I don't know. I feel like it's not a good answer. I don't totally dislike it. I just don't think it's. I don't think it's nearly as good. So already, I feel like mYinsanity. I like their draft a lot more. Sonya's always been great on this map, and the Li Ming high prioritization as well. This is the second time we've seen this on this map.
Yeah, we've seen Li Ming being picked before. Not too great success by casual gaming. And we have a similar situation sometimes on Infernal Shrines as to Tomb of the Spider Kings, where sometimes the Skeletal Defenders can get into your way when casting the Arcane Orb or Arcane Missiles.
However, if you can keep control of that shrine area and get a good train going, get a lot of the minions grouped up on you, then that's where Li Ming really comes into her own. She clears them basically in one shot with a good orb from max range. If your team can work well together, she allows you to clear the shrines exceptionally quickly. And Liquid, starting off double support very, very early, taking that Uther away from mYinsanity, which makes a lot of sense as they do have that Sonya. So taking away Tassadar and Uther, very cool here.
I don't know what mYinsanity wants to remove. There could be a Thrall option as being one of the other heavy melees. Zagara would be a decent damage dealer that they might want to be to remove it as well. Usually with Tassadar, though, you obviously want to be empowering some kind of melee in some way, shape, or form. But they are being a little bit patient on this. Definitely want to make sure that they think about it well enough. Right now, I still feel like I really just adore mYinsanity's comp when it comes to this map.
No more tour bus for BKB this time.
Yeah.
It was their saving grace last time. It was the move. We've been talking about the impact BKB can have. That is the impact he can have. He is, in some cases, the game changer. So as such, one of his warriors has been removed this time, and it's going to be a very solid warrior considering there is a Sonya on there.
That's beautiful.
It's going to be a Diablo. I feel like there's no way mYinsanity doesn't take it at this point.
Yep.
I like the patience that we saw out of Liquid. I felt like it would have been really poor, actually, if they decided to ban out the Murden as well. I do think mYinsanity will move towards the Diablo. There it is, with the Karazim as well. I love it. I've ever since Worlds and early studying of Korea, I've talked about how much I adore the Diablo pick on this map. I just think he provides far too much to be given up. So I do like that choice from them. Liquid responds with a Thrall, and then most likely a Murden. I don't think, maybe Johanna for the wave clear. Personally, I don't really like that choice, but
The issue here is that we probably won't see a Dehaka because he's not really been known to be a good solo warrior, a good solo tank, right?
Yeah.
So I agree with you guys. We're probably going to see a Johanna or a Murden. Murden coming out here I think makes a little bit more sense because the enemy team, mYinsanity in that case, doesn't really have a lot of basic attackers, maybe except for Sonya, but who knows? They're still lacking another DPS source or potentially second support is not really
Who's
available
left?
anymore.
Like, you could throw Brightwing onto Sonya, but it's not going to fit in. You're probably a second warrior. Johanna, like you said, has been left open. They could, in theory, just take something a little bit less health, a little bit more damage.
Yeah.
I mean, Kerrigan's still a thing.
Yeah, melee assassins definitely still solid for it, and Kerrigan
It
really
is
adds
weird
to
with
the stun
Sonya.
combo.
It's a little weird with Sonya, but I don't totally hate it.
Can be done.
If they go with Lunar instead, that's actually something mYinsanity has shown a couple of times in the past on this map specifically. So.
And now we've got Kel'Thas, Diablo, Lunara. That's a lot of AoE damage over time, which could prove to be a little bit difficult to handle, even for a double support comp like Uther and Tassadar, because both of these heroes don't really have that AoE healing available. So
but
the longer the fight goes, the more problematic it's potentially going to become for Team Liquid.
It is, however, at least from us, more comfortable than some of the stuff we saw at Katowice. For example, the solo Tassadar support against Lunara that made Dread very angry.
Europe has evolved.
Yeah, we have slowly but surely. Oddly enough, actually, North America runs solo support tasks now more than Europe itself does, which is strange. But I like Lunara. I think is a little strange. I guess I don't feel like it's the best answer, but I also don't feel like it's bad at all. Like I said, it's something that they've ran pretty consistently in the past. What I am more afraid of is the fact that we have a Kel'Thas, we have a Sonya, and we have a Diablo all in one team.
Yes.
All the wave clear.
And not only that, it's kill potential. I mean, just like they have wave clear, they have kill potential right now. And then, like you said, later on as the game goes on, Lunar is going to be providing more and more spread damage. It just feels like MYI is kind of one at all fronts of the game. Wave clear, kill potential, early, mid, and late.
And what makes it for us also a little bit harder than usual to analyze the draft for Team Liquid is the fact that they are not really predictable, right? So did they plan something like that, or was it just a mistake that they did not opt to go for any of the contested heroes like a Kel'Thas? Because their responses came pretty quickly in the draft screen.
I feel like part of it is just I guess I view they value Kael'thas just not as highly as the Tassadar, and that's something where obviously North America is at the point where it's like literally like you just can't give this hero up, and that's something that I think slowly we're going to see in this tournament. But I feel like this is the first transition point where if this goes poorly for the side of Team Liquid, everybody they're going to be like, guys, we can't let that go.
Liquid do have a lot of like a very hard team engage. For their side here, so basically they're looking to like win an entire team fight, whereas if anyone individually is getting caught by mYinsanity, there is a horrendous stunlock train that person's gonna die.
All right, guys, so I think we're ready to cast the next upcoming series. Our lovely boys at the caster desk are ready. Kalaris and Grubby, once again, get the show going.
Thank you very much, guys, as we do have now our winners match on the way. Team Liquid versus mYinsanity. Interesting drafts overall. Good, strong control of the supports to start things off for Team Liquid, limiting the position here of mYinsanity.
Yeah, it's almost to me like as if Team Liquid was busy counter-drafting mYinsanity, at the same time taking comfort picks for themselves like Tassadar and the double support, whereas a team like mYinsanity was busy drafting for the map. They got heroes which are really good at wave clear at the Infernal Shrines. And it's not a map that usually ends at something like level 13, 16. So we do often see late game. But Diablo has a chance to really propel the early game into a very forward momentum.
It's going to be interesting to see how the Lunara pans out for sure. Very interested to see if she's going to do enough here against the double support. We were kind of talking about it before. You know, as you said, somebody's got to take away the Kala's Embrace from everybody eventually. And it can be a good way to do it if the fight is long and drawn out. And most of the time against the double support, it's going to be long and drawn out. So there is definitely potential there for him to kind of eventually chew away at people as long as they're able to survive. But let's get into it for now. It is going to be our winners match with Nurok on Lunara, Darkmock on Sonya, Splendor on Karazim, Hasuobs on Kael'thas, and Blumby on Diablo. And then to the right-hand side, we will be having Team Liquid with Shad on Tassadar, Chris on Li Ming, Lowell on Thrall, Gerdam Herd on Uther, and finally BKB, the newest addition on Muradin. So for all in all, Muradin, Uther, Thrall, there's stuns galore in there. They're going to have those chains for their basic abilities. They'll be looking to try and eke out some of those early kills.
And Diablo is a very compelling target. Karazim, he doesn't have cleanse, obviously, until level 7. Then it's even the question, do you take it? He's a solo support. Breath of Heaven with Echo of Heaven can be quite viable.
Yes.
So, yeah, does he take cleanse? Diablo, he's not the most agile of warriors. He doesn't really have an escape.
Look at that decision making. They're like, let's go out. Actually, no, let's block this for a little bit and make our 5v5 fight a little closer to our towers if it's to go down in the middle. And again, on a map like this, we already saw in our first series, Shad will be able to reveal this area around him, making sure that they have an even easier time fighting this out.
I like Diablo hiding his talent all the way until the minion waves clash. Every single player should be doing it that way, but most people are too, I don't know, complacent or comfortable. Just take their talent right when the game starts. But there is a certain value, and there's no really damage to just hiding your talent until the minion waves clash.
Oh, that's a stun, and this triple stun. Oh, and the surround. There is no way Sonya's getting out of there. It should.
She found the way. It was hidden.
Spin to win. Spin to win, my friend.
Yeah, that extra healing from Whirlwind on the enemy heroes managed to see her through.
I thought it was going to be
life.
I thought it was going to be such an easy kill for them. I mean, I already mentioned. Well,
oh, wow.
That is cheeky. That's a cheeky one right there. It's not going to be a kill, but it's a cheeky one.
Such a cool place to hide to try and get someone.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was the two heroes with the least damage on Team Liquid's team.
Doesn't quite work.
Let's say it was Thrall and Li Ming.
Yeah, that would have been a different story for sure. So block is the flavor of what we have right now. 4 blocks across the board here for our warriors and as well as our melee combatants.
We saw this trend appearing at the HGC Global Championships at Korea just a few weeks ago, where Tiger JK from the Chinese teams, he was playing block Uther style. Block into Hammer of the Lightbringer, the one that gives you 8 mana per auto attack. But you can still also go into Amplified Healing, kind of making Uther not quite a tank. His health pool isn't big enough, but definitely someone who can share the punishment of the front line.
Yeah, that's for sure. We see now the shrine up towards the top being activated very, very soon up there. So that will be a Mortar Punisher on the way if they're able to grab it. Let's see how the contestation is going on up here. Just a few on either side. And of course, we have to reiterate that myi does have a strong force when it comes to actually taking down these little minions, these skeletons, if they can get on towards it.
Yeah, keep in mind that Lunar... Oh, hold on there. Bloomby.
Difficult for him to get out once again, and that should be a kill, and that will be first blood going down for Team Liquid on towards Diablo. Not exactly the easiest target to take down, but they were able to stun, and surround.
Yeah, he's got a big health pool, but he's got a big collision size, which makes him easy to body block, and he has no escape. So he is rather a padded punching bag in the early game.
Yeah.
Diablo, a hero that really benefits almost more than any other hero from getting a very good early game with good takedowns. His health pool becomes hard to deal with.
Looking for the kill again, spin, gets him out of there. Of course, does allow him to avoid that collision. Very, very importantly here for Darkmock. And they are just trading off these minions at the moment. Small advantage for myi, and noticeably, there are other 2 members for either team soaking in the experience on the lanes.
Now this is the second or third time Kael'thas has come out in this tournament so far, in the 3rd match. And we already see talent diversity for him. At level 4, he has gone for Mana Tap. Normally, well, from Chris, Team Liquid Chris, he has gone for the Gravity Labs talents. 2 different ones, in fact. So we see 3 different level 4 talents so far.
So good by Hasselhoff's Verdant Sphere. Gravity Labs caught a few of them there, so it really took the pressure off them for a moment to try and turn around that fight and keep going. Put pressure onto BKB. Dwarf tosses out, but the combo on towards Thrall, he should blow up. That's a kill for them. Very, very nicely done.
Bloomby getting out there with 300 health on his Diablo. Charging forward with just a sliver of his health, but securing the kill and 10 extra soul stats.
Good start for mYinsanity. Good start. Not much that they can do to follow up that Punisher going over the wall, but that's the good old tactic. Lure him over the wall, kill him, isolate, and destroy.
Yeah, it makes your fort and the back tower shoot it, and it's isolated so that it's not together. Definitely always want to do that. Use your most tanky character, usually your warrior, to incite that jump over the gate.
Not a Li Ming. Don't put unless you want to blink out of it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Actually, that was
Li
a
Ming.
terrible example for me to bring up. I'm like, yeah, use Li Ming and then blink away. You can do that.
Echo of Heaven for Karazim for another heal for 35% of Breath of Heaven, so no cleanse.
I was going to say, considering the lineup that we're seeing here, I'm kind of surprised that there is no cleanse being taken for this.
Well, it puts a bigger burden, not just on Diablo, which is the the self-evident one, but on Lunara and Kael'thas, who don't have good anti-crowd control abilities.
Yes.
Like, okay, Sonya, she's going to have Wrath of the Berserker, which halves all crowd control. But Kael'thas and Lunara may not go out of position, so I don't expect that Lunara will go for Leaping Strike. It's going to be the solid Thornwood Vine, I'm sure.
And interesting that we see the Oracle being taken at level 4 even, I should say, Mental Acuity on the Oracle instead of the Leeching Plasma here for Tassadar. So Shad is really wanting to be very careful about his opponent's positioning at any given time.
I mean, when the opponent has the premier ganking warrior Diablo, the Lord of Terror, you better see him coming.
Exactly. That thing charging out of the shadows is kind of scary.
All right, Karazim doing the slowest camp acquisition ever. Splendor there, trying to do the Fallen Shaman. He will win.
He'll keep himself alive for a long time.
It's very monk-like to do that.
You could say he has transcended this position very well. Good job, Splendor.
It's very meditative.
Yeah. Leaving it just for a moment because they know that if they claim it as the shrine is just being captured, then it will allow them the advantage in that top lane. They're almost close to level 10 as well, notice. So this could be a very good turning point here, even more so in mYinsanity's favor.
Yeah. They're starting to fight over those skeletons now. We see no over-eager movement by Team Liquid to contest this immediately, as first of all there's no rush, secondly level 10 is on the cusp, so Team Liquid did not make the mistake that Silence Monkeys made against them earlier on, which is to continually contest and be on the map at level 9 versus 10.
Oh, gets caught just at the very
end. Even get a kill.
Yeah, that's nice there for Team Liquid, very nice. It's going to be Wrath of the Berserker, Phoenix, Palm, Thornwood Vine, and Apocalypse, potentially? I mean, the thing is that both ults are pretty viable. Both heroics are pretty viable for Diablo at the moment.
Yeah, we see a number of Lightning Breath usage, and the fact that he has Soul Steal almost tells me he is going to take it.
Yep.
Why Soul Steal with Lightning Breath? Battle Momentum is great. Well, usually you use Battle Momentum to reduce the really long cooldown of Apocalypse, and Lightning Breath, you just stand there and you Lightning Breath, you take a lot of damage, and that's why he has block and bonus max health from the level 7 talent.
And coupled up with Lunara, if she's allowed free reign during all of that, like there is a lot of damage going out spread across this double support. So you can actually, again, you know, the double support is looking to kind of stall things out a little bit. Admittedly, they've got a lot of damage themselves, but they need to kind of go toe-to-toe with them and try and drain them all in that kind of AoE essence.
Gotta make a start on that health and all that healing.
Yeah. All right, well, jumped over again. They got themselves another Punisher. Frozen this time as BKB walks forwards. Oh, BKB, I love you. And then he'll just wander away. He's like, I'm taking Hasu. He's going down. But not to be, of course.
A pretty fair spread by everyone. No one either over-defending or over-backing up that Punisher.
All lanes being soaked during that, as it was a 3-for-3 towards the middle in terms of commitment. And that nimble wisp, the nimble wisp. It's very fast.
It's pretty fast, yeah. It's big vision.
It's pretty fast. Just chilling out. That's going to be the kind of counter to the mental acuity of level 4 in the Vision Wars. Oh, good, I'm hurt. Where are you going, my friend? Wrong way. That has to be a Divine Shield. Get on out of there. As we will see, BKB also taking a lot of damage. I think he still has his Dwarf Toss, so he is fine.
Yeah, using his avatar for the bonus health. Indeed, saving that Dwarf Toss. You can use it at the same time as Diablo's Shadow Charge and effectively dodge it.
Yep, the Unstoppable is useful, to say the least. As we will have Team Liquid just stalling things out towards the middle. A little bit of extra soaking going on here from mYinsanity, though. Nobody committing to the bottom lane just yet. They are all rotating around, so Lunara has to be careful for a moment.
Now keep in mind that every time a team gets a level up for their heroes, they will get 4% bonus ability power, health, damage, and so on and so forth. There's a scaling of 4% per level in this game.
Yep.
And there's a few exceptions. Sagara's one of them. She scales weaker but starts early at level 1. Lunara's the opposite. She gets 5% per level. So she's not that great at level 1 to 10. You don't need to get too much done with her. But as she gets to level 13, with her talent at level 13, and also just onwards, her poison damage is starting to get really, really serious. Fully expect her to see her end with like 60 to 80,000 hero damage at the end of the game.
We're seeing greater spell shield coming in for Lunara as well to try and keep her alive. Normally against the Li Ming, trying to just launch things in. Greater spell shield, of course, being the best spell shield in the game. It's very good.
Yeah, 75%.
Yep.
For 3 seconds.
Nice, nice. We have Fission Bomb as well coming in, a little bit of a deviation from the previous Kael'thas builds that we saw before.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I mean. We see like 3 different Kael'thas builds already in 3 different Kael'thas games.
It's pretty cool.
That is something that Kael'thas has never really had. Yeah. So that is cool. Finally, that build diversity that we were seeking. Now, a very crucial moment here. Level 13 each team, 5 versus 5.
Oh, Chad having to pop his dimensional shift there to actually get on out, and that's going to be the Flame Breath going down. The Divine Shield was used there, so Lowe's going to soak up a lot of that damage, make sure he's out healthy. But look at how they were able to pressure, like 3 members back there from Team Liquid with the amount of damage coming out from all sources.
They're all healthy.
Control.
They're all healthy. They have 80% health or more, and Team Liquid dropped down into the low 30s or 20s.
Yeah, that was...
And that's the cool thing here about that spread damage that Diablo, Kael'thas, even Sonya to a degree, and Lunara offer. Team Liquid has double support, so you could say that they have good sustained healing, but actually both Tassadar and Uther fulfill a burst healing role. And so to spread damage on everyone equally, normally that doesn't lead to kills, but in this case, it leads to control.
Yeah, I mean,
when everyone is hurt, you gotta back up.
And the squishier targets like Lunaro having greater spell shield in this just aids mYinsanity's position even more. It's like, it's not easy for them to really kind of find the target to blow up because some of the squishier members have that defensive capability available to them.
Yeah, and I think, it's nice you mentioned that because I think that's also a concession to the fact that there's no cleanse.
Yeah.
So a Sundering engage could just take out Lunara almost instantly.
Oh, this could be death though. He's got to be very careful. BKB's trying to block. Shad is coming in as well. There could be the Force Wall. I don't even think he needs it. There's the Palm, and it's popped a little bit early, and the Sundering comes in just as the Palm runs out. He will be blown up. He is able to revive though, so he will be coming back. Not much more pressure can be put on here.
Yeah, Blumpy comes back, sacrificing 100% of his souls to come back instantly, so they can go on the map. That does take a while to stack up again.
And Nurok, cheeky guy, all the way down to the bottom, taking that easy count while that was going on. So mYinsanity's presence on the map at the moment is slightly overwhelming for Team Liquid. They're taking that fight up to the top, but it wasn't even a 5-on-4. There was Lunara down towards the bottom just doing her own thing and achieving it.
Right, it kind of mitigates the damage that you took from a move like that.
Yeah, yeah. Because now they all have to go, well, some have to come down here, clean up our Khazra camp, and then elsewhere we're seeing still 16-14, with the talents at 16 being very important here for mYinsanity.
I'm not seeing a lot of traps in this game yet. People are doing well to show where the opponent is. The warriors, like BKB, he's checking on the positioning, very well aware of it, so Team Liquid knows to stay away from what is quote-unquote their own Impaler camp.
Yeah.
It has been captured by mYinsanity, and they're going to start applying pressure with this. You never
Spreading it everywhere. Her lovely, lovely poison.
look at that poison damage.
Chill out.
Yeah. So here they go.
And the thing is, it's invigorating spores at level 16 here as well for Lunara. So if she gets in range and in a good position to start doing a lot of damage, she's going to dish it out fast. You've got to be careful, especially if she starts targeting other members here and spreading it everywhere. Her lovely, lovely poison.
Look at that poison damage on that board. That is crazy. Nature's Culling, 300% damage on non-hero targets with her poison.
Bring down those buildings, my friend. It's funny, you can actually poison buildings, but I'll have it. I'm okay with it. Nature works in mysterious ways.
The hunt is on.
Yeah. All right, well, Team Liquid trying to move in towards the shrine. They do have that level 16 now, all importantly. Mirror Ball's been taken by Li Ming, so she's going to dish out a lot of damage if she's given free reign to.
Sundering!
That actually catches Sonya very, very heavily there. There was a big focus from Chris on towards her, but at the same time, the Lightning Breath was pushing Tassadar back very heavily. Divine Shield's been popped on Uther as well, and BKB's in the thick of things. Has to Dwarf Toss out of there. Darmok likewise was also in the thick of things, and trying to push them all back. Still, look at how they're all low, and look at the sustain for mYinsanity.
Yeah, it happened again. I really thought mYinsanity was in trouble. That Sundering was amazing. It got 3 people. Diablo at 40% life started lightning breathing and actually forced out Divine Shield and Dimensional Shift from Tassadar.
And at this point, I have to say, mYinsanity are cleverer than us, because I actually like Echo of Heaven now more than Cleanse. Looking at how these fights are unfolding, having Echo of Heaven means that they are able to sustain these fights much better. They're not allowing Team Liquid to get a full chain stun on anybody, and they're dishing out so much damage, and that's why they can't. It's such disruption.
They cluster up with the 5 of them, which often happens against Sundering anyway. A nice Dwarf Toss dodge again on that Punisher jump. Yeah, it works out. Like, if you're against Thrall and he has Sundering, you're going to be grouped up and stunned together. It's perfect to do Circle of Life, Echo of Heaven, Breath of Heaven together.
Very good. Oh, and a mystical spear out there.
Kael'thas in the front!
This is a good opportunity. Hatsuops might end dying. Oh, the palm! He's got healed up by Splendor. Does keep him up there with the Breath of Heaven for just a moment. BKB in the back line still here. Was trying to get on towards Hasu. Didn't. Gurdam Herd is also quite low. And we will see Muradin falling eventually.
Bloomby trying to get away there with 600 life.
Oh, Tassadar goes down as well. And that is the majority of their sustainability gone down the pan. That's a combo. Lowell will fall and Bloomby gets away. Brilliant engagements by mYinsanity.
Oh my god, unbelievable. Bloomby gets kept alive over and over by Splendor there, baiting out with just a sliver of his health. But for Diablo, that's still a pretty large sliver.
Yeah.
If you have a man-sized pie, one piece of the pie is rather large.
That is a big pie.
Yeah.
I agree. That's a huge pie. Let's see how look at Karazim. 63,000 healing right now. So he is out supporting 2 supports. And because of how clumped up these fights are, Echo of Heaven is getting massive, massive value in that instance. That fight, admittedly, was a little bit spread. So real kudos to Splendor at the moment in the way he's able to keep this team alive across the board.
And the cool thing is they kind of got forced into Karazim.
Yeah, it was like, wow.
And Splendor is just...
I will embrace the monk.
Yeah.
Embrace it.
Top damage, by the way, from mYinsanity from Diablo. Top hero damage, not Kael'thas, Sonya or Lunara.
Sort of doesn't surprise me. Diablo does a lot of big numbers.
Yeah, you have those returning flames, the Firestorm, you've got Fire Devil, Lightning Breath.
Yeah. And even in this instance, something that's keeping him alive pretty heavily against a Thrall attack is Imposing Presence. Imposing Presence is slowing down Thrall quite a bit when he's coming at him. And that is help. I mean, if he didn't have Imposing Presence during some of these fights, look how low he's been. If Thrall was focusing him down, he's gone. He's gone.
And the Rampage talent that gives you bonus auto attack damage and movement speed. There's no real point when you're standing still half the fight, having lightning breath on your opponent.
Exactly. So just keep yourself nice and defended. They are going to base at the moment. They've put on some pressure towards the bottom. This is a clever little move.
Oh yeah, there's the threat here for mYinsanity to go for the keep.
Yeah, exactly. But also, I mean, it was great to take that bottom camp while now the top shrine is active. Very unlikely that mYinsanity is... I mean, they can actually, because they have level 20s now, they are in the full driving seat. But there is definitely some structural damage going to happen downstairs.
Yeah, it's rather far out of the way, isn't it, to send one person there. Usually the best way to give up a rather large hero or tier advantage is to split up and allow your opponent a 5v4, even if you are level 20 and the opponent isn't.
But Team Liquid's got quite unlucky here, because it's going to be an Arcane Punisher with level 20 pushing against them. And we have the, what is it? It's called Hellstorm. So there we go.
Lasts and reaches 50% long, and it's going to be amazing to see. We actually see a trap attempt coming here.
This is cool. I like this. I think that they have to do something a bit drastic, because you can't just let this
run the Nimble Wisp revealed it. One Wisp.
They must know. They must know.
Yeah, they know. But it is smart. You're right. If they do not do this, they will passively just lose at their own keep and core.
Look how much damage was done by that Thornwood Vine, though, very, very quickly. Shadow also taking a lot of damage. There's the Hellstorm coming out, turning on towards Shad, and he's going to take down Li Ming super fast. And the entire team of Team Liquid is going to explode under this pressure. BKB getting pushed into the wall, tries to dwarf toss out, but he will be taken down as well. That is a 4-for-0. mYinsanity in full control.
It's so cool to see Diablo with Hellstorm on the other side of Li Ming with Disintegrate. It's like, oh, that's a really cute little beam. I'ma not let you finish. Gonna force all your defenses and still kill you.
I'm gonna show you how it truly is. GG, mYinsanity Hellstorms Li Ming into non-existence. And we will see them taking their first map here. mYinsanity, good God, they show up when it comes to lands. In that game, they really didn't let Team Liquid have much opportunity.
Yeah, they drafted very well for the map, and there was some kind of counter-picking process by Team Liquid with the supports, but Diablo has a large priority here for mYinsanity, and they really showed why. So lovely to see.
And let's also kind of give props to what we saw there from Nurok as well. That was actually really strong Lunara play, not really going into some positions where he was overextending. Even Wisp control, even that Wisp at the end, MVP to spot this flank, which was one of the only ways that Team Liquid could have salvaged the situation against a team at 20, against an Arcane Punisher. The team knew as a whole that this could have been a case, and they were able to scout it very nicely.
So Wisp is one of the most valuable abilities in the game, would you say?
Most people would disagree.
It has its moments. Archimon knows that.
Yeah, true. Oh, true. They explode pretty strongly. All right, we are going to go to a short break. When we are back, it's going to be game number 2 here from our winners match between mYinsanity and Team Liquid.
Let's end this thing once and for all. My life for ire.
StarCraft II: Legacy of the Void. Play it now. No previous expansions required.
Number 2 between mYinsanity and Team Liquid here in the winners match of Group A. We just seen a very interesting game in the sense that it was a slow and painful demise for Team Liquid, and we mentioned something like it wasn't necessarily because Team Liquid played terribly, but because mYinsanity had all the weapons they needed to counter the composition for Team Liquid, right, Dred?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it during the game that was pretty much like it was like exactly what it would look like when a team just gets completely outdrafted. Like even if the teams like aren't that lopsided in skill, is like literally just like it was like. And here we see every single team fight. Team Liquid doesn't really die, but they also have zero chance of winning this actual team fight. Everybody loses their health bars, slowly falling down. Don't have the wave clear to win the map objective, and so. Hopefully they can adjust in this next game. We talked a little bit about them having an interesting map choice and hopefully having a good strategy going into that.
Unveil the secret, Tetcher.
Yeah, well, it was on the screen a little bit earlier. It's going to be Blackheart's Bay as the map, which has basically thrown a huge amount of at least Dred's research out the window because this map is never played.
Exactly. So Blackheart's Bay is one of those maps where you either snowball out of control or you're going to be the one who gets the snowball against yourself. It's not impossible to ever make a comeback on this map by any means, but by the same token, you sort of really have to manage and establish an early game lead, to have a comfortable lead, to sort of administer all your coins that you're going to turn in, right?
Yeah, I mean, and there's a few unique approaches to this map. Certain teams in North America actually have a really interesting approach where they treat the upper 2 lanes kind of like you would like on Dragonshire, for instance, where you between mid and bottom, and it's essentially you just send 1 to 2 people to wave clear that the entire time, and then keep heavy amounts of pressure on bottom. Some teams heavily concentrate on getting the turn in. For the most part, you are right. It typically kind of snowballs heavily in one team's favor because once you get the coins, once you get the early XP lead, it gets to the point where it's like, why would I ever turn in unless I have a talent here?
Yeah, something that we also saw Team Liquid kind of sort of miss is to maybe really estimate what mYinsanity's strengths are. And we've seen the Kalthas being contested the entire day, and yet they neglected it. They didn't even ban it. They didn't even first pick it. Tetra, if you were the coach, what would you now say to Team Liquid? Like, what should they get immediately to prevent a disaster in the draft once again?
I don't think they should get it. I think they should definitely ban Kalthas. I think if they're going to put that much priority on it, it has to be kind of banned in that situation.
Let's take a look at the draft, by the way, before we continue our discussion here. Both teams seem to be ready, and here we go. We see Blackheart's Bay right behind us in all of its beauty and glory. And first ban goes to mYinsanity. So this time they can actually decide in which direction they want to sort of steer the game.
I like this ban, the Dahaka. When this map came up, the very first thing I thought of was, Dred mentioned it earlier, you mentioned it earlier, there is a lot, one of the strategies on this map is controlling the turning point and just getting turn-ins every now and again. You can basically leave Dahaka to be the sort of Illidan-style roamer that you used to have and take all the mercenaries and just collect coins. And the second the enemy shows, tunnel straight to the turn and just gets the coins in.
Yeah, that actually is a really good point. And then you just wait until they show, and then you decide to just teleport right into one of those shrubs right next to the turn-in there. But Sonya is the first pick for mYinsanity here. I did not expect it. I think Kel'Thas is a little less valuable on this map as he is some of the other ones, but I don't think Sonya, I guess. I don't feel like when I view this like a Falstad would be one that I feel like gains higher value than Sonya. So I think them showing with Illidan and Dahaka off the board, they want somebody who can kind of get all the coins, be kind of a jungle-style player there for them. But then Liquid responds with Kel'Thas and Zool.
Yeah, and we often see these early priority picks for the bottom lane on Blackheart's Bay. You know, it's really important to sort of have that and secure one of the treasure chests relatively easy. That's also why global mobility is ever so important, you know, in order to dominate and zone the enemies away from the map here. The Zool, we've talked about him a little bit. He hasn't really been picked so much, although he's considered to be quite the strong hero. Why on Blackheart's Bay?
That same reason I was talking about, the upper 2 lanes. He's going to be the wave clear. He's going to just sit there and farm those all day and try and give his team like an option to essentially be worried about contesting the turn and everything else. Meanwhile, he's going to be soaking, pushing very heavily in those 2 lanes. Very few people can keep up with him.
Yeah, it is very, very difficult to counter lane against Zool. You basically have to send stuff up to gank him repeatedly in order to try and deal with that. For now, though, mYinsanity going to be bringing out a Tassadar and the Johanna here. So they do have a bit of wave clear themselves. That knight takes pawn. So they can try and contest it that way. And, of course, with the Tassadar Storm. And they're building into a protect the Sonya composition.
Yeah, I like I think that they definitely need to make up for their wave clear there, and that's why the Johanna pick's coming out from mYinsanity. At the same time, I don't look at that and go, you know what, that's a really good Blackhearts comp right out the gates. I don't feel like it's poor, but at the same time, I'm not nearly as like when I look at Liquid, for instance, I'm just like, all right, they already have a very powerful composition. They have a lot going for them. They have a lot of other places they can go.
None of these notorious dominating early game heroes like Zagara, like a Sylvanas even, I think Sylvanas can do great work because the more structures you basically manage to destroy or even damage before you get those turn-ins, the more efficient your pirate balls are actually going to be.
Yep, this is very true. And one of the heroes very good at taking structures despite Wizard nerfing her. As to that, Li Ming, she's still, if you leave her alone, she's still going to work him down and still get the job done. And also, she is some good, solid follow-up damage for mYinsanity, some good range damage. mYinsanity, once again, they don't want Liquid to have all the map control, going to ban out that Zagara.
I don't know how I feel about Liquid banning out the Li Ming. I feel like it's something that they could have looked to pick up on their own. Li Ming, for how highly prioritized we've seen her today, this is like one of the only maps where I think she has like the viability to be that highly prioritized, but it shows that they don't want it for their half there. They're going to go with the Murden instead. Is Tyrande something we're going to see? She provides a lot when it comes to delaying on the map objective, a lot of vision control, and she can be paired with Kael'thas and Murden very, very heavily. So it's something that both of these teams actually showed very consistently. But in this tournament so far, Tyrande's been some of the lower prioritized heroes, and I've been very caught off guard by that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, Tyrande's been so highly prioritized in all of the matches leading up to this, and even in a couple of just the earlier games, but she's not been played as much as we thought, and she's not picked up here by Liquid. They instead pick up the Rhaegar. Give the option for mYinsanity to, if they want to, maybe go for that double support lineup to get the extra protection onto the Sonya, and then they do still need a range damage dealer for that. You mentioned Falstad earlier, that would be really solid good XP for them and some really solid damage.
I was going to say that Nurok on the Lunara could actually be something we might see again, and it has been locked in indeed, because Nature's Calling also fulfills a similar role to these other sieging heroes on Blackhearts Bay. It deals a lot of damage to enemy structures, and we see the Kharazim being paired with Tassadar for the first time. I think we've never had this kind of double support lineup before.
Yeah, Uther's open. Mafia is open as well. Kharazim coming in here. The AoE healing's nice against Kael'thas. I will say that much. But what do you think about Dread?
I'm torn on what mYinsanity is looking to have happen when it comes to this composition. I do agree with you that Nature's Calling can provide a lot of beautiful light siege damage. There's the Vikings out for the team Liquid.
There we go.
I think mYinsanity was caught off very off guard when it comes to this map. Nothing about their composition seems to be outstanding for the map specifically, and even that, they aren't necessarily tier 1 picks on their own either. Whereas it feels like Liquid has very influential heroes on all fronts, and they also, it seems like they built for the map specifically. I love Liquid's draft compared to mYinsanity this game, where I felt the opposite with last game. So
yeah, I mean, the Vikings on this map just give you the huge amount of soak, so you're going to be able to hold all the lanes. You have Zul, who's going to be able to clear all the lanes. Liquid at least have a Blackhearts composition. You said it perfectly. Whereas mYinsanity's, if you look at the comp, you'd still be like, this is still going to be a difficult fight to go up against it, but you don't look at that and say, this is a Blackhearts comp.
And like sometimes that's all right to have, as long as all the heroes that you have are considered to be objectively like very, very strong. And then that's what I was saying. mYinsanity is like, where you're like, well, we have Johanna, and you're like, she's all right, but like nothing too like impressive there.
Work. They could Falling Sword into the backline to try and deal with Kael'thas and help Sonya that way, but it's not the kind of thing we would usually see.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so a very curious way this draft has evolved. Certainly a lot less to the degree where we say, okay, Team Liquid just got outdrafted. It's a very interesting approach. As I said, the Vikings are going to be the hero that we have to pay special attention to, because let's not forget that on Blackhearts Bay, if you by accident pick up a couple of coins on a single Viking, then it's relatively easy to snatch those back from them. But I'm sure that Shad, who's most likely going to play the Vikings, has that sorted out. We're going to throw it over to Kalaris and Grubby once again, who are now waiting at the caster's desk, guys.
into this. Thank you very much, Kendrick, and well as the boys on the desk. We're about to get into this, yes indeed, as we do have our next match on the way. Interesting drafts once again, even going down towards the prioritization of Lunara here, towards the later end of the draft. But can mYinsanity round this out 2-0? Do you think this comp allows them to be able to potentially do that?
I think they actually have a small advantage in the draft. But I have some ideas about what Team Liquid can do or might try to do, and it's going to rely a lot upon level 1 through 7, I think.
Yeah, there's definitely some air in that early game that can come to fruition here, which we'll talk about in just a bit when we get into the main game itself. Vikings being an interesting pick overall, though. I mean, the Team Liquid recently has been favoring back towards that Vikings on the maps that they can get away with it on, which is always nice to see. Team Liquid has almost got this kind of lineage behind them of ex-members always having strong Vikings play.
Yeah.
It's always nice to see it come out.
Yeah. All right. The map is loading. Yeah, I was just looking at the draft, and in that 5th slot, I was thinking, okay, it could be something standard like Valar Falstad, but I looked. I play Vikings a lot myself.
Yes.
And I saw that the conditions for Vikings had been reached. They had Muradin, Rhaegar, Zul, and Kel'Thas. I can explain more later why, but I was like, yeah, they could do it. But I'm ambivalent about it. It's so-so. Let's see.
Time to get into it. Game number 2 here. mYinsanity leads 1-0. Nurok on Tassadar, Darkmark on Sonya, Splendor on Karazim, Hasselhobbs on Lunara, and Blumby going to be playing Johanna. Then on to the right-hand side, we have, of course, Shad on the Lost Vikings, Chris going to be playing Kel'Thas, Lol on Zul, Gurdam Herd on Rhaegar, and finally BKB on Muradin. Let's jump in to Blackheart's Bay to find out who is going to be moving on. Our Team Liquid can tie things up here, Grubby.
Yeah, so when you go for Vikings, you need a strong tank who has a disengage himself, like he has an escape, that's Muradin. Then you usually need a very strong bursty backliner, that's Kel'Thas.
Yep.
A mobile healer, Rhaegar, Karazim are great. And then usually you would like to add a specialist or assassin with additional crowd control. In this case, that's Zul, who has Bone Prison. Thrall additionally works really well. And then your goal is to make fights. Either you go as 4 around the map and you get pickoffs, and you need to be able to do that quickly, therefore you need the burst, or you need continual disengage and escape while buying times for Viking to soak. Now, if we actually look at the heroes here for Team Liquid, they don't have Team Disengage, they don't have Mighty Gust, they don't have Force Wall, and they don't have ETC's Face Smelt. So they can't really buy time for a very long time. What
Shad down towards the bottom with his Vikings. Look what he's doing with that. That's very, very cool. Like, so they've controlled the top with the 4-man roam, which is normal, but Shad is actually stealing away these coins, making it harder for Sonya to engage against them because the waves are going to be in a bit of a bad spot. And he's cleared the wave with Baylog all the way down to the bottom left behind the fort. So this is a very cool wave manipulation thing that is rarely seen in Heroes of the Storm, but very, very potent. Even though he dies. Never mind.
It's a little funny. I'm not sure exactly what is the net result. I guess distraction. Lunara has to go all the way there, which means there's 1 hero missing. But anyway, the way that I see this working out for Team Liquid, since they don't have good disengage or buying time maneuvers, they need to go in quick and get the kills. And so far, they get Lunara.
That's 1 kill already. That is, well, not technically first blood because we saw Baylor actually fall before.
He only bleed a little bit. He's 1/3 of a hero, so that's like, it's not really first blood, right?
Yeah, true enough. All right, so, and we do have obviously BKB and Gerd up here towards the top. I think that if you wanted to have Baylog that far in and putting on pressure as they look to try and blow up Splendor, he dashes towards Gerdamher, gets towards the minion wave as well with his next Radiant dash. But if you want to have Shad doing what he did down towards the bottom, you've got to put on massive pressure up towards the top to make sure it's always a 4v4. And then Sonya's trying to deal with the other 2 Vikings.
And I guess that's kind of what happened. They cleared the waves a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
Now look at this. We see Kel'Thas going for a mana return Gravity Lapse. Chris has chosen this. Lowell has chosen to go for mana return Skeletal Warriors. And Rhaegar has gone mana and health regen full at level 4 Pharaohheart. Fully showing that they want to stay on the map and for a long time.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool to see how much sustain that they're going to have in this composition. Nurok's trying to battle against Shad down towards the bottom, and the Vikings will chill out. Meanwhile,
look at this, Sonya. We see Sonya here, Darkmark going for the PvE, and he already got the siege camp. This kind of moment can and maybe should be anticipated by Team Liquid to do some kind of aggressive invasion into enemy territory, as it is rather common to send Sonya to do the single Merc camp capture points.
Yeah.
She also took Merc Lord for it, which makes her take less damage from mercenaries.
And that's why Eric has Eric the Swift to try and scout those things out towards the middle, but he was unable to really fully identify that at the time that it was going on. So a little bit of a shame there for them. And he did lose Olaf down towards the bottom, but at least now the hard camp's going to be pushing towards the top. Maybe they can start rivaling that turn-in point. 7 coins against 11 at the moment in favor of Team Liquid.
Yeah, so at the beginning, Vikings can't really like triple soak lanes yet because there's too much enemy congestion. But as soon as there is a contest over the pirate point, Blackheart's coin turn-in, that is when Vikings can come out into the lane and start soaking XP everywhere. So we still see actual heroes soaking lanes from Team Liquid. Lowell staying there with Zul and doing a lot of wave clear. And once he clears that wave, he can start going to the middle and maybe even the pay point.
The multi-purpose, I like it. Just doing the business in the middle right now, later on fanning on out. As for different stages requires different tactics. Level 7s have come in as well. We're seeing, once again, as always, Zul. Very, very common skeleton build on the 4 and 7. Sometimes varied up at the 13 and 16 nowadays. Not always extra, like Corpse Explosion, etc.
Yeah, I think Corpse Explosion is alright, but the level 16 Skeletal Mastery actually has some drawbacks. It doesn't do that much. It's like you can have 2 extra skeletons, but that means it takes longer for your first and second skeleton to explode. Because anytime you summon a skeleton, the first one will disappear automatically as a service to the 4th one. But now you need to wait till your 6th skeleton for your first one to disappear, or until it runs out. So the explosion of Skeletal Explosion actually is delayed.
Try and attempt there from Blumby to block Dartmoor from being interrupted, but Piercing Bolt was enough there for BKB to get on towards it. So they're continuing to do well here and still soaking.
Now this kind of thing is tough for mYinsanity. They need an actual hero to stay in the top lane. However, Zul has stayed as well.
They're not losing out too much on that so-called Dartmoor going absolutely ham there with the Whirlwind forwards, and he had such a great position for that Whirlwind. You notice he really bided his time. This is what makes Dartmoor one of the best melee assassins or slash Sonyas in the Shad. But yeah, run away!
And he made it out twice.
But as I was saying, Dartmoor, you know, he is very, very aware of when he can go in and when he can't. And that was one of those times.
That is one of the main skills of bruiser and melee assassin type of heroes. Illidan, Sonya, it's not so much only the mechanics of the hero, but just knowing when you are a foolish diver who died needlessly.
That's me, that's me.
Yeah, I know. I'm talking. Oh, actually, I was talking about myself.
Oh.
Or when you just know exactly the limits of what your character can do.
Yeah, which these guys do, and they've played it hell of a lot of games. Vikings down towards the bottom, still soaking, whilst we have Olaf being the ward, basically, through the middle to check out when Blackheart is going to be communed with once again. Dartmoor going to clean up towards the bottom. We have our level 10s in, and we do have Skeletal Mages for Zul, which does see play indeed alongside Poison Nova. It's by the by either way, and this will, because they're playing Vikings, slow down team fights again. It can actually act as a soft disengage here for them, which is something that they may have sorted in this kind of composition.
Yeah, exactly. That's they need that kind of thing. So now 28 coins on Team Liquid.
That's a lot of coins.
But can they turn in? They momentarily brought all of their members, but they're now fanning out again. And keep in mind, although they want to pay, there's no pressure to do it because mYinsanity has none of the coins.
Yeah.
So this is similar to a situation like on Dragonshire. When you're channeling both the lasers, you can capture the Dragon Knight, but you don't necessarily need to.
Right.
You're forcing your opponent to compensate by defending the middle point, which is basically like a 4th lane, because there's no minions there.
I get you.
And then instead you can go do other things. And if they ever get if they ever get careless and they go somewhere else, this is that Eric the Swift saving him.
Yeah.
As long as he keeps moving, he keeps healing. That's kind of like Crank with Jason Statham.
Jason Statham.
The adrenaline thing, you have to keep moving.
Oh, that guy who wishes he was Bruce Willis.
Does he?
I mean, he looks kind of like he wants to be Bruce Willis.
Well, a little bit, but I'd have to find a quote to actually believe that.
I've never watched
He's
Crank.
pretty
Sorry,
cool.
buddy.
Oh, he has to keep moving or he will perish. Kind of like Eric the Swift there.
Like Transporter. I think that's what it
But
is.
he doesn't have to keep moving. He's in a car. He's on a road. So if he stops moving, that's dangerous. Don't do it.
Yeah.
It's unlawful.
No, I agree. Don't crash. Don't
Yeah.
crash.
All right, so going for the boss here now. Chests have spawned. There's lots of interesting things up for the taking now. Coins, boss, the actual pain point.
They're on 30 coins. They are on 30 coins
Crazy.
right now.
But that's the distraction they need, the boss.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they could even... you could probably get 2 turn-ins off this boss pushing, or you can just stick with the boss for a while, but then you're risking the idea of actually losing coins if they take an engaged fight.
Yeah.
So they are playing true PvE right now. Don't take full fights, just stay away from mYinsanity.
Excellent play. Excellent play by mYinsanity. They farmed the chest for enough coins so that they don't have to deal with this difficult juxtaposition where they either defend the boss or actually go to defend the pirate, which would take too long. Instead, they pay first.
And they're being aggressive down towards the bottom.
mYinsanity.
They've got an easy camp with this.
Pushing with Merklord.
Oh my god. And if they actually take this other easy...
Quadruple siege camp with Merklord.
I mean, they
Pretty
need
strong.
they need to back off now because the rotation is coming out from Team Liquid to make sure that they can try and shut them down.
Oh
and
yeah,
in fact,
Team Liquid is here in force.
Yeah. They were worried about them fleeing back or just getting away, and they're going to try and turn in with Muradin alone. But this decision-making that we're seeing from mYinsanity is very powerful at the moment, considering there was a boss pushing against them. They made the right
Blessed
calls.
Shield has been used because Dwarf Toss was used.
BKB trying to get walled on him, but that's not really going to matter too much. He will stick around.
So a strong play coming from mYinsanity, almost a level lead. 2 forts ahead. They have the fewer coins, but they're making them count.
Yeah, forgot to mention it is play again here for the Vikings over the longboat raid, which will always make them quite annoying for potential flanks later on, but they're going to be soaking for now as it's going to be the full-on fight. Skeleton mages have been thrown down here to slow down the entire team of mYinsanity unless they're going to take them out. Darmok goes forwards, lunges forwards in fact. He's going to get bone prism here for a moment, but he's still alive, still healthy, and they will push Team Liquid back. But Team Liquid does not want to be really taking these fights. They just want to try and turn in the coins and make mYinsanity go elsewhere.
Exactly. That kind of fight that we saw there, which looks like Team Liquid is losing, that's a win every time it happens.
Yeah.
Because there's a Viking in every lane getting the experience.
Soak, soak, soak. That being
Just
said,
Dwarf Toss away, try not to use all your heroics. Phoenix is okay, Skeletal Mages is okay. Try to save Ancestral Healing for a real panic moment. So that was really okay for Team Liquid.
But what if we end up in a similar situation to Team Liquid versus them in their previous series, going up against the Silence Monkeys, where Team Liquid never get the opportunity to turn in their 34 coins? If mYinsanity continues to control this middle point, and is doing pretty well on experience themselves, even against Vikings, the decision-making is still really on point to win this out against Team Liquid.
Yeah, very much so. We're seeing some excellent counterplay by mYinsanity against... Oh, nice Stormbolt!
That's going to be a kill. There's no way she can get out of there.
I was just mentioning Lunara's been doing such a great job, Hasselhoff's there, with the Nature's Culling talent by being something that normally is only Johanna and Zul.
Yeah.
Like, excellent double laner at the top and mid.
That was a big commitment there for Team Liquid, though, and if they didn't get that kill, it's wasted time for quite a while during all of the moments where mYinsanity is in
the Blessed Shield misses! Blumby!
BKB trying to bloody block from Nurok as well as Blumby and Splendor down towards the bottom, trying to block Blumby for a moment, but he will escape out. Not easy to lock down that Johanna.
Darkmog still has the Mystical Spear. He's trying to make this last a little bit longer. If he did not provide vision there at the fog, there could be a trap from Team Liquid. But they did manage the payoff. Chris.
All the talent choices from Team Liquid, like Earthgrass Totem coming in as well. They just don't want to fight. They want the Vikings to stall out for as long as possible, disengage, run away, get out of there. Only fight if you have to.
And Team Liquid has now taken the experience lead.
Yeah.
With such fights as they had before, where they don't die. That's all they really need to do. Start a fight and make sure you don't lose it. You don't have to win it.
No, exactly. Exactly. All right, well, mYinsanity.
Now, one thing to mention is, yes, they had a lot of coins, but they're killing things with the cannons that have been killed in a vanilla push fashion by mYinsanity. That's just a 4th fort, and it's not even down yet. It's just the wall of it. So we still have a siege advantage here for mYinsanity.
37 coins.
37 coins!
37 on the side of Team Liquid. They do want turn-ins. They're trying to stop Splendor. That Phoenix will be...
I wonder why that Phoenix chose to attack Splendor there.
Everyone was closer to it.
Yeah, there was like 2 other members closer, but it's like, no, I know what I need to do. Oh, Kel'Thas, Chris, he's getting cleansed. Nice cleanse there by Gerdem Herd.
I If that wall had been, well, I mean, I think he would have had Dwarf Toss, so he should have been okay.
Still, a Murden that used Dwarf Toss is a much more attractive target, so
True.
if you don't have to use it.
Yeah. And they're still just trying to get the soak where they can. Obviously, mYinsanity doesn't necessarily want to be running all over to kill these Vikings, and Shad will run back to safety. He's been doing a good job of soaking, definitely during this. But another turn-in for mYinsanity. They are playing the PvE just as well as Team Liquid, but Team Liquid will have 20 a lot quicker than them if they continue down this path, and that could be the turning point.
Yeah, this boss is going to be crucial. We actually see Nurok scrabbling to join his brethren here in the top to mid lane as whoa. Am I suddenly louder?
No.
To you? Okay.
You're fine.
I must have touched something.
Oh, yes, you did. I see the difference.
Sorry about that. Some footwork issues here. not a good dancer. So they wanted to prevent that boss from being captured.
And once again, mYinsanity knows what they have to do. They have to control this point, but as they're doing it, they are losing soak. So Lunara's up to the top. They are trying to turn for themselves once again. Chance.
Keep running.
Keep running.
Jason!
No!
No!
No, run!
Shad!
No! Eric! Oh well. You were doomed.
Oh.
But then, a Viking for a Lunara. Team Liquid's okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah, because maybe Lunara died because she kept looking at Eric. Like Hassop's just stopped moving with Lunara. It's like, yes, don't move. And then, oh no, I'm out of position.
Satisfaction in my kill. Well.
Yeah, I think it was not related, but anyway.
Still, 41 coins, a boss is going to be taken, and I don't know if mYinsanity, without Lunara, has the availability to just say, okay, we need to go and control that turn-in point as aggressively. This is the exact opportunity Team Liquid was looking for during all of this. They caught one, and now that middle is going to be a 4-on-4.
Exactly, and they tried to create this situation before, but keep in mind it was countered by Team Liquid quickly paying first, but they neither have the resources nor the map presence to do that at this point. So they're going to have to defend the boss, which gives the turn-in to Team Liquid. As a result, they will get level 20 from the cannonballs.
Yeah, and you'll see this boss being attacked as quickly as possible. Gonna try and take down this fort as well. They're split pushing, which makes it all the easier here for them to gain level 20 very quickly.
Also note that Team Liquid delayed the turn-in until the bottom fort was already taken.
Yeah, and looks like we will have a moment here. There definitely was a change in the air there for a moment.
Yeah, we just got turned on because we're getting more visitors here in the audience. So I guess we were turned on for the visitors. We'll work on that. Apologies for that inconvenience.
Oh, yeah. Hello, mYinsanity. All right, so this will be sorted in just a moment. But I mean, the way it's gone, we can't really talk about too much at the moment whilst they are sorting out those issues. But overall, look at how we've seen the control. The control has been very, very strong. I would say on both sides, to be honest. Not only from Team Liquid to preserve their coins, but also from mYinsanity having to go up against a difficult composition.
Wow, you're so balanced suddenly. Just now you were completely trashing one of the teams, but now that they can hear you, you're so...
Wow. All right, try and bait me into that. I'm okay with that.
Just
Thankfully,
kidding.
I know them all really well, so it's okay.
Well, it's a bit rough now because we can't mention anything too specific. But we're definitely getting into a very crucial time in the game.
I always knew you had to keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. So you were well willing to throw me under the buses.
Yeah, because we're such good friends.
We
still are, right?
Oh, I don't know.
All right. It seems like the issues got fixed.
Seems so. Yep, they are ready and good to go. So we will be jumping back into Blackheart's Bay here, as of course. It seems like mYinsanity is in quite a pickle. Level 20 has just been reached here now by Team Liquid.
Now, I wish you luck, Hilaris, in a random Hero League game to delay turn-in, because people are so eger to turn in their coins over to Blackheart. But if you've got an outer fort, like a fourth keep, basically the last remaining fort at the bottom there, and you're going to waste cannonballs on that when you've got full map control, you could just kill it first with 3 people auto-attacking it, and then turn in to actually do damage to the keep wall, that is going to be infinitely preferable to just wasting your cannonballs. And it's nice to see that Team Liquid definitely does it that way.
They've got good control of the PvE state of things here.
They can't stop this turn-in. It's a consecutive turn-in leading to a keep kill and level 21 soon.
And the chest just spawned again. So look at Team Liquid, always aiming for the later stages of the game. Really cool foresight by them. Again, I got to give props to mYinsanity because they did control the early game really strongly, but it just wasn't enough. It wasn't controlled enough to the point where they could have stolen some away some of these coins, because that's what they needed.
Yeah, and do you know when it all went south for mYinsanity was when Hasselhoff's on Lunara got caught.
Yeah.
And where was his Wisp, Kilaris? Where was that most valuable of basic abilities in Wisp?
No.
Had the Wisp warned him, but what were you doing? Were you hugging a tree?
Probably.
Trying to get some lumber?
Getting some lumber, not very useful in this game, I suppose.
That's when it went downhill. Team Liquid got the boss, or uphill for Team Liquid, I should say, because this could be the equalizer for them.
At level 20's Arcane
Level
Bond
20 is reached.
We have also...
Oh, Rhaegar! First wall and Blessed Shield!
That's a perfect opportunity for them to try and blow him up.
No
I don't think
way.
they're going to get him, though.
They
Darmok
don't
is on
get
the
him.
chase. Will he find him? It doesn't look like it. Chris is going to get the Ancestral Heal there as well, though. So BKB now Dwarf tosses away. Unstoppable, that conviction. Not going to be able to catch him.
They might not get another chance like that.
No.
It was a 5-man situation against Rhaegar. They used Blessed Shield and Force Wall, and in those 3 seconds, they were unable to get him. That is just unbelievable.
Sorry, Olaf, you died somewhere. As we have like this camp now pushing on towards the bottom, they still have 34 coins.
Sure,
The one thing that mYinsanity has going for them is that they do now have level 20, but everything's being pressured at. They have to stick around in the middle of the map. They absolutely have to.
Yeah, they did finally get the pay-in, so mYinsanity will kill one of Team Liquid's keep. But Shad on Baylog, he just did 40% damage on that keep. That's like 3 cannonballs almost.
I feel that this has to be a window for mYinsanity to do something. Now that nothing can be turned in during this period here, they have to try and stop Team Liquid. They catch! Oh my god, they're going to take down
Major blunder, being alone by yourself at this time. What a wonderful opportunity created by Team Liquid.
Yeah, that closes that window completely there. mYinsanity, I felt that they had this one window to try and do something while there was no turn-in potential for Team Liquid, but losing one person means that this is a 4-on-4 now, and Team Liquid has good control of this 4v4. Johanna's going to try and go in and do something. Force Wall is going to slow them down for a moment, but they just back away.
Now, Sonya was a rather large part of the damage here, the second highest. Lunara rates first with 37,000, Sonya with 25,000 in second place, followed distantly by Johanna and Tassadar. So that is like 25% of their total damage output nearly, which they have to do without. It's going to be hard to kill anyone on Team Liquid, and they secure the pay-in in this way.
Level 20 though now with mYinsanity, they do have Galloping Gate, which means that they can easily try and do something in terms of chasing and when they actually want to put on pressure here. But they're going to lose every single keep. So now every lane is going to be pushed against them. They have to force the issue. They have to do something.
Exactly. All keeps are gone. A bit of shield damage there, which means that Vikings can push that down if left unattended.
Is the boss timer about to come out? They're up there. They're up at the boss.
Okay, so in the next 40 seconds, Vikings will win the game together with the cannonballs on the core, or the boss will do it. Which means mYinsanity has to go right now. They've got to force the issue. You said it.
Yeah.
This is the best chance. Whether this works or not, they're doing the right thing. mYinsanity going for the core here, ignoring all enemy heroes.
The poison's already doing quite a bit of damage to it, but mYinsanity has to up. He used to use Galloping Gate. He needs to get out of there. He doesn't actually manage to keep himself alive. Nurok as well as Splendor, very, very low.
Ignore Bane.
Splendor though.
Dark
They're going to be able to get it.
Doing
and they're going to take this core.
8,
they
5,
have to take it.
4,
oh my god.
3,
Will he survive
2,
Lumpy? No!
What?
Team Liquid saved the core. mYinsanity, it was all on that, and it was not successful. That is GG, and Team Liquid will tie up the series 2% core. Unbelievable.
Not even close.
What a way to end this game. I couldn't even believe it myself in my mind. I said that they had to force the issue, they had to finish.
You said it, and how often do you say that as a caster? And people are like, no, we'll just play it passively. They absolutely did the right thing, mYinsanity.
Yes.
Whether it worked or not, that was the right thing. Because they would get strangulated to death, eventually, proverbially speaking, in this game. Against Vikings, no keeps. Against 2 keeps. They almost got it!
Oh, so close to getting the 2-0 and advancing on, but Team Liquid will tie up the series. I felt that when I thought maybe they were going to press the issue in a team fight, but they knew that Team Liquid was always able to disengage properly and had defensive capabilities for keeps that were in lanes which they could have just sat at. So...
And then the boss.
You have to go call.
Maybe mYinsanity sees the boss is lining up, the boss has a win condition, but it's a rather slow win condition.
I think if I really look at the minimap in that instance, only Vikings were showing in lanes. mYinsanity must have thought that they were a boss, and they were. So they were in those bushes.
It's either a trap or it's a boss. Yeah. Or it's a core all-in attempt. If it's a core all-in attempt, they can't defend anyway.
Yes.
Because their core has no shields. If it's a trap, well, guess what? The front door mid-keep position has no bushes, so they will not walk into a trap. So it was absolutely the right thing going for the core.
Yeah, I think
this shows the strategical prowess of mYinsanity.
Yes.
And Team Liquid, I don't know if I can call it luck, but they got lucky to live with a 2% core.
They did. Yeah, they did. All right, ladies and gents, it is 1-1. We are going to a break, but when we're back, the conclusion of this winners match between Team Liquid and mYinsanity.
Indestructible, right?
It's not only that, like it's
indestructible trigger.
What happens if
The Eternal Empire needed a force against rebellion. After centuries of betrayal, I am that weapon. Through me, peace and order will be brought to the galaxy. Only the meddling Star Princess and her sisters stand in my way. I am Space Lord Leoric, and my empire will live forever!
It would help. Being blood out of position by a lone Viking, right? It's not like blood. I mean, you have to deal with them, right? Like,
I like it.
yeah. Those are the things you like. You don't go for that. Like, it's not how it should be. There should be peaks.
You're showing the ping pong on towards Spider, right? Ping pong? Yeah, your ping pong core goes to 2%, they run over and defend and go back. Yeah. But this was good. But
this was live.
As we mentioned, they fucking had to do something, they had to go. Yeah. Absolutely.
It was one of two more.
Right, welcome back. What a game. This was a very intense moment there. Of course, we're talking about the series between mYinsanity and Team Liquid. I mean, the casters talked about it a little bit, but maybe for all of those who aren't really that experienced in competitive Heroes of the Storm and with Blackheart's Bane, how it works, Dread, can you maybe once again reiterate why Team mYinsanity basically was forced to go for the core there?
Because without all the coins in their favor and sitting on the side of Team Liquid, and with how poorly they've been doing in team fights, it put them in a position where essentially there was no way for them realistically to win through the map objective. So then that forced them to decide to move aggressively towards the core, even though it was a risky call, which actually almost paid out.
Almost worked out, yeah.
It was really close.
1 second later, on that Viking revive, and that would have been game over. Hannah would have ended the game. And the Vikings, we were just like, oh, Eric's still split pushing. They're just going to try and like base race it. They should really come back. Oh, there are the Vikings. But that was so close. That was so close.
Yeah, and we also had a little bit of a discussion upstairs if Splendor's Divine Palm may have actually landed on the right target, because I think it landed on Johanna. Yeah. Whereas if he would have maybe prioritized the Lunara with that additional poison damage from Nature's Culling, it may have actually been, or it would have actually been maybe enough damage to take down the core altogether. But as it is, one of the most flashy victories here, definitely. And you may argue that Team Liquid was a little bit lucky because, I mean, they played it extremely well. I mean, they pretty much forced mYinsanity to take that risky and desperate move. So throughout the entire duration of the game, they played it extremely well, especially the global pressure coming in from the Vikings there was quite useful.
I think with how well they were winning that match and all other fronts, I feel like Team Liquid, like you said, they forced mYinsanity to respond that way. So the fact that mYinsanity got to the core without being dismounted or scouted, I actually think was more of a misplay on the side of Liquid than it was great by the side of mYinsanity, because that was a forced core call, essentially, because of how big of a lead that they had. So I would have liked to see them dismount, be better to scout that kind of situation out rather than letting them get that close to winning the game.
I completely agree. Like you said it exactly. They forced the situation, so they shouldn't have let it get that bad. They should have been more prepared for it. They should have, like, maybe just leaving a Viking. Like at one of the a couple more of the entrance points. Maybe Eric wasn't the split push in the bot lane was cool with Eric down there, but I think he probably should have been back quite a lot earlier, or at least teleported back the second the enemy started moving towards the core, second it was scouted. Instead, he came back especially really, really late. So yeah, I agree. I think they should have been a bit more prepared, considering that it's a situation they forced.
Yeah, I think it was a pretty valuable experience for Team Liquid there, that when you sort of have the enemy team at the brink of desperation, where they pretty much the only thing they can do is a desperate move to go for the core. You always have to make sure to have vision on the lanes, to have vision on those choke points in order to prevent a sneaky maneuver that you're not aware of. But what does that mean now for the final game, which is, by the way, going to take place on Tomb of the Spider Queen? Is there something... Keltha still unbeaten, still 100% win rate, even though you got to say that it was almost very close to the brink of defeat. But is there anything... Is now the time for one team to show a really good strategy, or to pull something special out of their pocket sleeves?
I think it's the time. I don't know if we'll see it, but I think it is the time. Like, if these teams, specifically Tomb, usually when you see unique strategies, it's almost never on smaller maps. It's almost always on some of the larger ones. So I don't know if we'll see that here specifically, but like you were bringing up Kelthas and his success that he's had in this tournament, and we saw that actually in the first game, Team Liquid decided to opt out of him in the first pick and leaving it to mYinsanity's hands there. I don't think we're going to let that happen this game. It's either going to be banned out or first picked on their half.
It did happen again in the second game, though. It was actually left out and once again not first picked, and Team Liquid were able to pick it up as their first pick, being second pick in total. So Galefast, despite, like you mentioned, having a 100% win rate, doing spectacularly well in almost all of the games, still, I guess in your opinion, not getting the respect he deserves, and I completely agree with it.
Yeah, people may have actually not realized how valuable it can be to sort of just ban it out completely. Don't have to deal with this hero that seems to be so dominant and to fight on even footing. And I just got word that the ban and draft phase is indeed ready, so let's dive right into the drafting phase here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. We're going to see if Kelthas will indeed be first or second ban here. Of course, when you are the first ban, you're also going to be the first pick, and that can sometimes, allow you to ban something that might not be so dangerous. So you force the enemy team into responding and taking a safe ban.
I think the Zag ban right out the gate shows where Liquid wants to go with their draft.
Right.
I think that they're already intending.
They're forcing mYinsanity now into a potential ban on Kel'Thas.
Yeah, and if not, I think that they already have something else. So they ban the Tassadar. I feel like this has to be a Kel'Thas, especially because Tassadar would have been the pick that they would have taken otherwise. But like I said, I don't know. The prioritization here is a little bit different. So Kel'Thas, I like that a lot more on the side of Liquid. I'm really glad they decided to opt into that.
Yeah, of course, Chris always feels very comfortable on the Blondie. mYinsanity, they have to respond properly now. They may be prioritizing the...
That was quick.
Yeah, that was very quick. I was going to say maybe Asanya, but they decide to go for Zul and Johanna. Johanna actually not really that impactful in the last game, I might want to say. Maybe it's a different thing on Tomorrow's Spider Queen in particular, though, because she does have that great early game wave clear, which is ever so important on this map in particular, right?
Yep, she's insane for the rotations. It's one of the maps she really became popular on, and also was a huge catalyst in the rise of Asmodan when he sort of came into the meta himself. She was one of the heroes that really gave that, and this is one of the maps it kind of worked on.
One thing that I know Liquid is Liquid is very good with Dahaka, and overall in Europe, Tomb of the Spider Queen actually almost never has Dahaka played on it. But it's something that I wouldn't be surprised if they actually decided they'd be interested in. Instead, the Tyrande, one of the only times a day she's going to be taken picked up. I personally love it. If Kel'Thas didn't have enough single target bursts, I mean, why not just add one Lunar Flare and another percentile damage on top of it? Yeah,
and Tyrande is just such a jack of all trades. On this map in particular, she can interrupt the turn-ins with her Sentinel. She can zone out enemies with the improved Starfall after the last balance update. So I really think that Tyrande provides just a lot of utility overall, and by the same token, doesn't really give away too much of your overall strategy.
I would actually like Liquid not to pick their tank here. Just because Johanna's already been picked up and you can't force the ban, then mYinsanity is not going to force a ban and double tank. And if they do, they're a big enough disadvantage. I feel like Liquid had the opportunity to actually avoid picking up Murden in that situation, unless they really feel like Murden provides significantly more than ETC.
So what do we have left for bans? We certainly, I mean, if mYinsanity wants to go for... They should really secure themselves a support relatively soon. So Thrall, of course, Thrall, always a good hero to pick. Very solid in lane, great wave clear, and strong zoning or flanking potential on this map in particular, because you can approach enemies from a different angle, especially around the turn-in points, maybe out of sight even.
He also just gives you a huge amount of control in terms of the lanes, especially with Zagar already banned out. Thrall is one of the solid bottom laners that you can really just control the map with. And if you get the extra range on his Lightning, it is one of the best denials in the game for multiple people turning in, assuming you can get the vision, which shouldn't be too bad. And basically, it's a ban to really give Zul a bit more freedom, because Thrall is one of the heroes who would deal with that quite well.
The ban onto the Thrall, it's interesting too, because we've seen mYinsanity really enjoy Sonya on a lot of maps, but having Zul already picked up on their half, I don't know if the ban out there was that effective. I don't feel like Thrall would provide absolutely, I feel like Sonya could be picked up for Liquid and it not be that detrimental to the composition. So I don't know. I feel like there might have been something better that mYinsanity might have been able to get out of that, and then Lunar's going to be banned out by Team Liquid. Surprising. She has seen play in this series, but I don't feel like it was that much. I would have rather been worried about Sylvanas, which is something Calder touched up on, and I've been talking about a lot with you guys about how much I feel like she's probably the most underplayed hero in the entire game. She's absurdly valuable, and so I do love that pickup for mYinsanity.
Yeah, and with Lunara, of course, being banned away from Nuruk, this sieging potential now has to be compensated somehow, and Sylvanas is definitely... really good choice there in that regard, because of her Black Arrow, of course, disabling buildings and dealing a large amount of damage. Whoa! We see someone who has been gone missing for a while.
Yeah, our old friend Greymane.
Yeah, those Lost Dog posters have become effective, and Greymane has come home to Team Liquid. He will be played in this game, which is very interesting to see. And he does still have some serious engage potential against the heroes like Li Ming and Sylvanas, so I do quite like this.
So from an expert's point of view, tell us why Greymane's change or recent change has such a huge impact on why he's not seen so frequently anymore.
it legitimately makes him need to have flawless positioning to be effective as he was before, and even then it's just to get the value out of him as a hero right now compared to the majority of the others, it's far more difficult than like the other ones are very straightforward, and so it just doesn't make sense in a lot of situations to have the same prioritization. His 7 talents here was what made Greymane Greymane.
Yep, would completely agree, and it now has a huge effect on him. Like we were talking about it earlier, like the other options on the talents. Yes, if you can hit the talent, extra damage is always lovely if you can hit it every time, but the other options for those builds are for sort of silver bullets, which lowers your engage potential because you have to stay at a longer range to make the maximum amount of that talent. It is a very interesting change that we're about to see what kind of effect it has on the way Greymane is played in the game, and I'm super excited about this.
Yeah, also we have to sort of keep in mind, or it's going to be interesting to see who in Team Liquid plays the Greymane, because we know that Chris used to be a big fan on him, but on the old playstyle, whereas Lowell is considered to be one of those Worgen kind of build-heavy Greymane players, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, that's why I feel they're picking him. They're picking him as the jump into the backline thing, and that's how LoL was playing him. The only difference LoL is making is that one level 7 talent, just picking something else as opposed to what he would usually pick, which is just the extra, what would have been the blast, basically.
The blast, yeah.
Elixir for just the efficiency and just basically getting the poke out of it. Whereas in this case, he just has to pick something else, but he still gets that hardcore engage potential to try and get onto that stuff and just play it as a melee assassin, basically.
Well, paired with Toronto as well, the large amount of burst that's going to come out of go for the throat as well. So like they have, it's like you don't even,
so good,
because like before you would use it for a little bit of poke, engage on the back line when you get them low. But it's like, well, with Toronto kill Thos, it's like the front line is just going to die every single time, and Greymane just helps execute a large amount of burst even without his 7 talent like he used to have. So.
All right, so let's throw it over to the casters for the very last time in this series, at least. Grubby and Kalaris are eagerly waiting. Take it away, guys.
Game number 3 between Team Liquid and mYinsanity. What a way to end game 2. That was rip-roaring fast and cool. And now we have a Greymane.
Yeah, again, Greymane making his re-entree into this tournament and into the metagame. He was gone for about 2 days. We dearly missed him.
Yeah.
He went from being probably maybe the best hero at competitive play. Not the most banned, because he's not the kind of polarizing hero like Illidan, but definitely one of the best.
He found his place.
To being a bit more awkward. And here he comes in. And it's no surprise to see that we'll see Lowell playing on him, who plays him a bit more like a melee assassin and less like a poke king. So he won't miss that incendiary elixirs change as much.
Yep. Definitely there is the potential for him to... I mean, it'll be interesting to see how he goes in terms of builds, for sure. As you said, the level 7 could be something that is contested between the incendiary elixir going to something else. And Lowell always willing to get in the thick of things there. He's one of the more aggressive players. And again, you know, couples up with someone like BKB, one of their newest additions to the roster. Very, very wise, very, very well. But for now, we do have, of course, mYinsanity versus Team Liquid. Game number 3 loading up onto Tomb of the Spider Queen. Nurok will be on Zul, Darkmark on Sylvana, Splendor on Karazim. We have Hasuobs on Li Ming and Blumby on Johanna. And to the right, we have Team Liquid with Shad on Tyrande, Chris on Kale Fast, Lowell on Greymane, Gerdam Hurd on Rhaegar, and BKB on Muradin once again. I was about to say again for Gerdam Hurd. I don't know why. Let's get into it. Game number 3 has mYinsanity to the left, and we have Team Liquid to the right. Now, in terms of how these drafts have worked out, this one for me was a little bit harder to really say who has the momentum early game and even into the later stages.
Yeah, it's really 2 different styles. Both have good general drafts, very strong heroes, but Team Liquid is a full stun lock team that will try to blow up someone super fast, whereas mYinsanity has the map that is better suited, the hero composition that's better suited to the battleground. Once again, just like on Infernal Shrines before, which they did end up taking, mYinsanity did.
Yeah.
Sylvanas, if you give her a finger, she will take a hand. One hero taking down will lead to her actually proceeding to kill towers and forts.
Yep.
So for mYinsanity, they have to dodge continually for a long time the stun lock takedowns. And Team Liquid will be on the warpath. We don't see this a lot. A 5-man grouping at the bottom.
Jeez.
Second 50.
And it's on to Li Ming. She doesn't really have much of her talents this early on. She blinks away. Good saves. Splendor blocking enough there to get her out with that teleport.
Yeah, nice Sentinel block there. Shad trying to get the pick off with that Sentinel. And this was an investment. And they will give up experience, Team Liquid. They were hoping to get a takedown out of it. They'll start to fall a little bit behind here.
I mean, not too much experience in the end. I think they lost like 1 or 2 minions up towards the top. There's another attempt though. They're looking to try and make up that small loss that they did have there before. Lumby is in the thick of things at the front. And it's Johanna, she's not going to die for a while, so she'll be okay.
What a rowdy affair so early on already, Claris.
Calm down. Stop it, you guys. Stop it.
Team with the Spider Queen. Definitely when one of the teams takes a pick off comp, like with Kerrigan or Stitches, or everyone has a stun, like Team Liquid has now, almost, you see rather a lot of action early on in the game already.
Yep. And it looks like they're now split themselves off to their lanes, their respective lanes. Kael'thas is going up against Sylvanas. Not the easiest lane for anybody, really, in this situation. But normally, anyway, we're seeing Sylvanas going for the full Q builds, as I say, normally. So you don't see as much unstable poison nowadays, which is something that allows her to be so dominant in lane. So for that reason, she's not as dominant as she used to be. But look at this fight once again, so aggressive. Locking down Tyrande, and Li Ming from the right-hand side that tries to get in. Blump is going to fall, though.
The legends are true. Johanna can fall, just did.
Oh, there's a counter kills. And actually, not even counter kills. It's another member of theirs. But there's the counter.
There's the counter kill, and there's one more.
Oh, resets. Oh, calm down. Phew.
Reset for days.
Resets.
So it's a 2 for 2.
Uh-huh.
With mYinsanity taking the final takedowns, which is usually better, as when you get your guys back, you can start to clear lane quicker already. You've got the better map control. So a lead to mYinsanity.
Yeah, and even Dartmok, who rarely we get to see on actually ranged characters, here playing Sylvanas rather well.
Yeah, I've seen him play a lot of Sylvanas before, months ago, so he's definitely super comfortable with the character. You were mentioning unstable poison. Actually, all of Sylvanas' level 1 through 7 talents are now purely PvE.
It's all Q.
Yeah, even the explosion of the minions on Black Arrow don't damage enemy heroes anymore. Whatever you take, it's all PvE no matter what. It's just how do you want to do it. And people just decide to click the icon that has the same portrait every time, the Q talents. And it's pretty good.
Yep. Don't want any more QQs going on in this game though, on the mYinsanity side. Only for Sylvanas only, as we will have coming to fruition. Dominance on Li Ming, and no doubt we'll probably have Calamity on that level 7 as well, which is the normal go-to.
The two biggest surprises here really are the talent choices for Lowell and for BKB. They've chosen to go with a full cocktail build, Lowell and Greymane. So he will have to hit it better than... Yeah, that's a miss. There's no splash. Either way, at level 6... We could see more of that, even post level 6, because of the way Incendiary Elixir has been changed. It's now kind of gathering power, stacking quest ability that continues to add damage every time you hit it, and eventually will shave off 2 seconds off of the cooldown, if that's what it's going to be going for.
Yeah.
And also Perfect Storm from Muradin, which is a stacking of damage of his Stormbolt instead of slowing enemy attack speed.
Putting a lot of focus on trying to bring those structures down quickly, or then...
Well, he didn't go for Sledgehammer, so that can't be the thing. So it's just to do a little bit more damage when they do the rotation.
Yeah.
That stun lock, he wants like bonus 20 to 100 damage.
Yeah.
That's it.
So, I suppose not too much reason for reverberation, although it would be nice to slow down things like Nirok and Splendor at the front there.
Yeah, like a less healing trait from the Monk, but either way the Monk has to kind of play super careful because you cannot cleanse yourself anymore, there's loads of stuns.
So full cocktail, so Incendiary Elixir has been taken at level 7.
20 stacks, 20 times you hit enemy heroes, and eventually you'll get full effectiveness, full damage, and the cooldown reduction, going from 8 to 6.
Will he complete his quest, is the question.
Well, we're rooting for him.
We're rooting
mYinsanity isn't.
No, of course. As we will see that totem come down for a moment there. He already did take the Colossus totem at level 1, I believe, so Colossal totem. So that is gaining himself a little bit more control throughout these fights. And with that, usually you would see Earth Grasp at level 16. I hope we do. I really do like that coupling up for Rehgar.
I do think we will, most likely. There's a small chance he will go for Hunger of the Wolf, doing bonus damage, since that seems to be kind of heavily prioritized here for Team Liquid.
Johanna getting locked down. She did pop the Iron Skin. Oh, sorry, that was Nirok even though.
Yeah, popping the Shade, getting a cleanse there, and getting safe rather well.
Yeah. And Team Liquid just slowing this down towards the mid. No full turn-ins going on just yet, but we have mYinsanity very close with 48, 71 on the side of Team Liquid at the moment.
And just to kind of paint a picture here for who might be winning or losing, so long as everything continues with exact equality, mYinsanity, in my opinion, is winning. Because they have the better push, so that means that on average, if they both get a Web Weaver, mYinsanity will get more done with it. They have better wave clear, they can disable enemy forts.
I mean, imagine a scenario where they get 10, they get the Web Weavers down, and even Sylvanas is just split off alone, pushing with the Web Weaver.
Oh yeah, that's a whole fort down.
Huge power.
Normally you get maybe 5, 6 towers. Sylvanas instead get a whole fort.
Exactly, yeah, it's scary. So they've got to be, Team Liquid's got to be very mindful about keeping an eye on Sylvanas specifically, but even the rest of this comp is still quite annoying to deal with.
And one of the ways to counter a stun comp is to actually make sure that the opponent can never fully group up. So if you always make sure that you clear wave super fast, forcing your opponent to either get the XP or lose it, and if they get the XP, they can't group up. Well, then you'll never have the enemy team in a full force.
BKB going in quite heavily there. I wonder if we'll see Starfall again. I really like to see Starfall coming out from Tyrande.
Considering it's a second support, I would say it's rather likely.
Yeah.
It also pairs up wonderfully with both Chain Bomb, Living Bomb, as well as Phoenix itself.
Yeah, it can work wonders for that.
Oh,
miss!
BKB!
Oh, the miss! Just one
He was
step
so
forward.
good with his Storm Bolts last game, really netting some very valuable kills, but short by an inch here.
I think the saddest thing for him is there, no perfect Storm stack. Sorry, BKB.
His quest talent.
But yeah, that is the Web Weavers descending now, and level 10's on the way. Wailing Arrow, Poison Nova, Palm, Divine Shield, as well as Disintegrate coming out. Level 10 will be close here for Team Liquid, so they shouldn't be under too much pressure at the moment, but a lot of the attention is being focused by mYinsanity towards the mid.
So BKB right now has 7 stacks of Stormbolt bonus damage. We've got Greymane at 1 stack.
Oh yeah, he hit one towards the mid. I remember it.
Of course he took it a little bit later than Muradin. He's got a few more stacks now, 4 namely.
Sylvanas trying in the fight towards the mid here and actually disabling this fort, which is very, very nice.
Whoa.
Looking for the follow-up there. Whoa, onto Greymane.
A single man Wailing Arrow trying to be the critical fatal damage to actually take someone down.
You got to back out from that point, as we will see. Looks like Team Liquid just moving through the mid.
All right, and yeah, there's that first Web Weaver that almost gets a fort in the middle lane. Sylvanas damaged the bottom fort.
Looking to block out BKB there once again, going on towards Neurok, not able to really do too much. Disintegrate comes out, so does the Ancestral Heal on towards BKB, but it was the Starfall as well as Phoenix coming on along.
I liked that invitation by BKB to allow himself to get bursted down. Hasselhoffs aimed all his spells at BKB, but there was still plenty of things to save him.
Very aggressive Haunting Wave there from Darkmob means that he can't really go too far forwards anymore. He's just wanting to delay at the moment. They're not looking for a fight. If they were looking for a fight, he would save his Haunting Wave for a potential retreat out. They're just looking to poke and delay this turn in. And now fight, now that they see the opportunity. Shot getting very, very low. Popped instantly off the back of that. BKB likewise, very low. He bleeds on out, and that's so many gems. As long as they guard this midpoint, that is a fantastic fight for mYinsanity.
1 gem off of Bay. Team Liquid 49 out of 50
Beautiful.
will now end up losing 30 to 40 gems there.
Oh. That Radiant Dash was almost not beautiful if you just stuck around with that Living Bomb. But the thing is that everything that mYinsanity did there was brilliant. Like, you know, using the Haunting Wave just to delay things a bit, waiting for some cooldowns like that to be back up in case it got a little bit sticky. But they wrapped around on towards Team Liquid and were able to destroy. That was so well played.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, if you've got Tyrande and Rhaegar on the team, there's almost no point going for BKB on Muradin. You gotta always focus Rhaegar, who cannot save himself with Ancestor or Cleanse, or Tyrande, who's the most fragile target and can't heal herself for as much as she can heal others.
Phoenix coming out to lane.
Talents once again, we see that Windrunner talent at level 13, resetting the Q charges.
Relentless as well as that skeleton, skeleton talent coming out here for Neurok as BKB taking a lot of damage.
Beautiful Wailing Arrow!
Oh, catches so many of the mYinsanity on the warpath and on the killing spree now. 3 go down. 4-0, and the Web Weavers are pushing during all of this, and they're all healthy. mYinsanity is 3 levels ahead, and they're going to be even further ahead very soon with this amount of pushing power.
That went almost faster than I could follow it. Johanna hit their heads together and suddenly wailing arrow on 3 people, bursting such powerful tanks like BKB's Murden.
I mean, look at a desperation Starfall to try and slow all of this down as well. They are under a lot of pressure right now, trying to catch them unstoppable from the Iron Skin. They'll get out. They have got fantastic control of this map at the moment to mYinsanity.
Yeah, a 3-level lead is not easy to come by in games like this. 7 versus 2 takedowns.
Yeah.
We've seen this with somewhat level equality, but you can really see that the stun comp like this has difficulty clearing waves. Kael'thas is good, Rhaegar's decent if he's allowed to stand in the middle of a minion wave. But generally he won't be, it's risky, right? So Kael'thas and Greymane are pretty good. But again, Greymane needs to stand in the middle of it for the most part. He can throw some cocktails, but you need to throw like 2 to 3 to clear a wave.
Yeah.
Murden and Tyrande can almost not wave clear to save their lives.
Oh, and looks like BKB here trying to turn in. Just needs that one more gem. mYinsanity, will you be able to sort out? Johanna wasn't here for a while. BKB is trying to force them back so Lowell can get in that position. But here comes Johanna.
Shad, Blessed Shield, wailing arrow on Shad. Tyrande running away for her life.
Pushing in there against that. Blumby still tanking quite a lot of damage, but has to get on out of there. In the Worgen form there was Lowell doing a lot of damage to him, so pushes him all away. BKB taking a lot of damage as well. Hit by the Poison Nova. Probably going to explode under the pressure of that, and yes he does. Good takedown there. And once again, great control of these turning points. They're doing it so well.
Yeah, I mean, that was really nice save by Gerdam here, the ancestral healing on Shad. But look at how Nurok was able to use Zul's Poison Nova. Right as one target was isolated and the others came to save him, Poison Nova, BKB gets the damage on Muradin, and the rest, they don't really want to walk into that.
And even the start of those fights, mYinsanity didn't overextend until they had their front line in place. Johanna was the most important component of that to make sure that the rest of the team can say, we can now unload. We can actually beat down this position. But most teams would have got scared about the idea of trying to deny that turn in the
yeah, because they're almost level 16, but they're moving in really aggressively here. And I just want to really commend Blumby on the way he's been playing
really good
today in general, but also on Johanna here. Johanna is totally an opportunistic warrior.
Yep.
When you see that moment, you've got to throw out that Blessed Shield immediately.
And you've got to have no fear, because she doesn't have amazing... Yeah, she's got Iron Skin, but she doesn't have a fast retreat out unless she was taking fanaticism or something like that, I believe, down the line. But other than that, I mean, you're in for the count. And now they're doing big damage towards these keeps. And I don't know if they're going to get slowed down. They're 4 levels ahead.
Oh my god, level 17 versus 13, starting to move out here, trying to dodge as much of that Starfall as possible.
And there's the Bone Prism, and maybe the explosion here on towards BKB. Oh, they go so far out, and when they do, boom, they pull the trigger with that Poison Nova and all the other damage coming out. And Hasselhoff's positioning during in these fights has been brilliant. He's as far back as he needs to be to dish out the damage safely.
Now, talking about Greymane again, the experiment of using him post-nerf.
Right.
I wouldn't say that experiment per se is looking like a failure so far, because I feel like it is really very much the case of mYinsanity's strategical approach to every battleground, winning out on superior push. And the way that they've been working together, that's really doing it for them here. But yeah, Greymane is not exactly working out yet.
The first turn in for Team Liquid. I think it was BKB that snuck out and got this going.
Wasn't it like 1 gem remaining?
Yes, it was, for a long time.
Yeah.
But now BKB does have to be careful. There's not much lockdown that they can do here.
This kind of web weaver is like, let's depush the lane and we'll probably won't get a tower. It's like, it's such a sad value.
I was going to say it's the saddest web weaver. That's actually a great flank there though by BKB. He got a double Storm Bolt basically with a piercing bolt on towards Splendor and Nurok, but the engage potential for them just isn't there. They still don't have level 16s. That Blessed Shield catches a few of them. Leeming on that flank was able to do quite a bit of damage to Hasselhoff there. And that's a blow up on Sylvanas. She went quite far forwards. And Nurok likewise is going to fall.
Thank you, Splendor, for the chain bomb.
Lowell moving forwards there, trying to block out. And it looks like they will get onto Karazim. Very difficult to get out. Tries to Radiant Dash on forwards. And the second Radiant Dash out. Very, very good escape by Splendor.
I saw no way for Team Liquid to get back in this game. I was almost calling it. except if mYinsanity made a mistake.
The thing is now off that, they can get forts, but can they get keeps?
No.
There's no chance of that, so they're evening things up.
But they own
slowly.
talent equality. They haven't been on
True.
this since 2015.
It's been a while, for sure.
So Darkmore got a little bit overeager, a little bit frisky there, haunting waving into the opponent, and Team Liquid said, yes, thank you, we will take you down. And then it looked like that was it. Zul was getting away, but Nurok actually got blown up by Splendor's chain bomb.
And we're still seeing the full, complete build of Europe past gone for Greymane, unfettered assault into the level 16 Elixir talents. So just no different iterations at the moment, which is nice to see, kind of a commitment to it.
Let's still try. I mean, Lowell's got loads of practice on that.
Yes. So. BKB looking to zone out again. Blumby coming around with the...
But that one missed. It would have done
Shield
damage to Darkmok, but that cocktail missed. It's a pretty big difference. He just threw it out there like it was the old one.
And they disintegrate, doing quite a bit of damage there to BKB, not making it easy for him to stick around as good as coming in for the heals. Slowing the pace down again here.
I will say that he already reached his quest talent. How could it be otherwise in such a long game? But you can see that he's throwing it out every 6 seconds, which is kind of neat.
Yeah, that is nice. And that will help out a lot in these later stages as they're trying to gain some sense of balance. I mean, both their mid and top lanes are pushing, and that's why it's important for Team Liquid to control or try and turn in at the top point so that they can try and control those 2 lanes at the same time that are pushing the hardest as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if they actually go try to pay at the bottom and it gets interrupted twice,
They can't stick around there for long.
Gonna be like 3, 4, 5 counterpods on their core.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult to commit to something like that, but they have got another turn in. Team Liquid trying to claw this one back. No Greymane puns intended, as we will see. Greymane trying.
Oh, look at that totem by Rhaegar. Such powerful crowd control there. The Earth Grasp that you were alluding to. Tyrande with top damage, actually. 42,000 leading ahead of Kel'Thas.
Wow. Those owls, they're
She's got
angry.
healing too.
Yeah.
And the Starfall. Oh, where did he come from? Did he just
Jumpy.
drop in from like the top of the stage?
He parachuted in. BKB. You never know where he's going to come from.
Candy Murray in a true terror.
Yep.
Whoa!
Oh,
That was a big jump.
that was ambitious.
I wonder if... No, he doesn't have the jump talent, does
Oh,
he?
no, I don't think so.
It just looked rather far.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought you meant big jumpers in like committing quite heavily in an
No,
aggressive stance.
I thought he took the dwarf possibility at 16.
I do like him playing with that one. It's really fun.
Yeah.
But not amazing compared to Stoneform, of course.
Hasselhoff's chunking off half of Shot's life, immediately gets healed up again by Gerdom Herd and Shot himself.
Get himself back up here in terms of experience, and that's a lot of damage going on to Johanna there for a moment. Blast Shield comes out, stuns 3 of them, but doesn't really get the full follow-up in terms of that. And also the Wailing Arrow was used as well, but no follow-up again. So Team Liquid can back off, content with the fact that they got, you know, a catch-up in experience. Again, reminding you, they were 4 levels behind at one point in this game.
Wow, that was a lot of damage. Boom. Hasselhoff shooting Team Liquid like ducks in a barrel. No one has a full turn-in right now, and no one has Storm talents yet at level 20. So this is the most equal point in the game that we have been at yet since minute 3. And Team Liquid, they want to try and make something happen. If they do not attack now, they will fight against level 20, which means loss of map control for 2-3 minutes.
I don't want to do that, especially when it's 45 gems on the other side for mYinsanity. They could easily get up to that 65 quickly in that space, but looks like...
Damn though, that was Phoenix and Starfall. The moment to fight for mYinsanity is coming up. In the next 30 seconds, Team Liquid has a massive advantage. Where does... mYinsanity has a massive advantage. Where do they think Team Liquid is going to go? If I had to stab a guess, I would say Bruiser Camp. They're actually at the Siege Camp. But that means that mYinsanity right now, they could move into the Bruiser Camp expecting to find Team Liquid there. Even walking into a known trap will be fine. They have the Storm tier talents.
And Mortal Wound is here as well for Zul, and we all know how much that can potentially do in some of these fights, especially against Ancestral.
That makes Ancestral Healing do less than Overflowing Light Tyrande baseline.
Yeah, it's not great.
No.
I'll be honest.
It's like, oh, you just did like half a Holy Light. That's cute.
The one thing that Team Liquid's got going for them, it wasn't Scythe talents at level 13 and 16, but BKB is going to get blown up! Oh, and you can't be out this far when it's level 20! Resets coming in, Hasselhoff's dealing out the damage required, and they're going to take this Bruiser Camp as well. And this, with 2 people down for 50 seconds, is a great opportunity for them to take boss and push on to core.
They could go for boss, they could go for the core, but they would have to stand in a Phoenix and Starfall. So they will do they'll try to do the safe thing, which is go for the boss and stand in the Phoenix and Starfall there.
Yeah, I mean, that's one way. They're trying to get some. Actually, that's a lot of damage that was done there for a moment.
Yeah.
Darkmock, be careful, my friend.
Can Shot place a Starfall in 3, 2, 1? There we go.
Okay, this is actually a lot of damage coming out. Good is being pressured though. There's that Poison Nova really
Whoa.
ravaging through this. Sylvanas actually got picked off there during all of it, but Kale fast sacrifices his life for it. And a 4v2, they're not going to win out. The boss has been taken, but with the 1 kill and the time bought, they might be able to now stall out that boss from not killing. It's
But I mean, the
close.
boss has nothing to slow him down.
Yeah, that's the problem.
It's full life. Normally you would like to poke it down as it gets to the core.
And now-
If mYinsanity just ticks off the shields, it's over. I mean,
Yeah, this is going to be very, very difficult
Team
to
Liquid
hold on.
wants to try and fight here. If they can kill everyone in the next 5 to 10 seconds, Team Liquid can still defend.
But it's going to be difficult. Blumpy is even pushing back. Gurdam hurt so far away.
Oh, the
Hasselhoff
bomb!
gets popped.
Splendor!
Splendor trying to, he might have to dash here. Tries to go on towards Gurdam, hurt in an aggressive manner. Greymane's going to fall. And this is
Splendor!
mYinsanity getting in a great position. Splendor keeps
Shining,
dancing.
shimmering Splendor is finally going down, but what moves he did.
It's not going to be enough though for Team Liquid. That boss is probably going to finish the core. They know it. GG. And that is mYinsanity moving on to the top 4, 2-1. What a victory for them.
Wow, nice.
Fantastic
That's
stuff.
mYinsanity. A 2-1 victory here over Team Liquid, who for many months would have been called the favorite over mYinsanity,
Yeah.
but the tables have turned and mYinsanity has lived up to their recent reputation.
And that's the thing. We talk about mYinsanity a lot in the European scene at the moment as a dark horse or someone or a team to kind of not expect to do as well as your Dignitases, your Navis.
But that's
or
a lingering
but
reputation, isn't it?
That is dispelled.
Yeah.
We have to now put that behind us and say
Let's move
mYinsanity,
on.
they are one of Europe's very best. They've proved it in the previous group stage, moving on in Katowice to the finals. And once again, 2-1 here over Team Liquid, moving into the top 4. They are definitely one of Europe's tip-top now.
Yeah. I mean, maybe there were some that believed that their making it to BlizzCon was in some ways fortunate for them. Sure, they're only top 4 for now, but they've beaten Team Liquid already. One of maybe the 3 to 4 other favorites of top 4 and top 2. They have made a strong statement here that their form is set to continue, and they look good while doing it.
Yeah, really good stuff. Every single one of these maps, really good control. That's one thing I need to emphasize here about the mYinsanity lineup is they have great control of these battlegrounds.
Yes.
And it showed. It showed on maps like, well, I mean, admittedly, Blackheart's was a little bit difficult, but then, anyway, we'll talk about that later. For now, we shall head over to hear what the analysis desk thinks of how that series went down with mYinsanity advancing on.
That was intense, not intentional, but intense for sure. I mean, you could really see how mYinsanity at the very end of the game just had the focus, had the good shot calls. I also want to give credit to Team Liquid though, because they were at the brink of starting a comeback, but I personally think due to a lack of maybe miscommunication, BKB died all by himself, and that basically spelled demise for them. Dredd, what is your last statement towards that match?
I mean, I agree with you that that was definitely a miscommunication on their side. At the same time, they were 4 levels behind in a keep down.
Right.
The fact that that game was even close after that point actually is kind of mind-blowing for me. When you looked at the amount of wave clear and just like with Sylvanas, the accenting she provides to the map objective and a lot of the other variables when it came to compositions, I'm surprised that game was that close.
Yeah, I'd agree. They really did a spectacular job considering, what was the score at one point? It was like 17-13 at one point in the game. And Liquid survived all the way up to getting level 19 to mYinsanity's 20 before their game ended up, before that boss ended up getting taken. And even when the boss ended up getting taken, they actually did a really good job of like angling their abilities at that boss point in a 3 versus 5 to take a huge chunk of health off, but then unfortunately, Kael'thas got caught out, and they weren't able to capitalize on it as much as they like to.
And that is a little bit reminiscent of the Spring Global Championship for mYinsanity, that is, because against Cloud9, something very similar, or almost happened. You know, they gave the game away in the very last time, in the very last moment when it actually looked that the victory was already getting close. So they need to work on the way they close out the games. They do have what it takes. They've got growth focus in the early mid-game, but in the later stages of the game, they need to learn how to finish the game effectively.
Yeah, I don't always even know if that's a problem with necessarily mYinsanity, but also maybe just how they play that map, because it was the same exact map when playing against Cloud9 as well. But you are correct. They pretty much they get the lead and they have a significant lead, and then they find a way to like let it all go away. And that is a flaw of the map, but not nearly as bad as mYinsanity kind of lets it happen.
Yeah. All right, so Red Eye stands ready with Hazuops once again for the interview, so let's hear what they've got to say.
Thank you very much. Hasselhoffs, congrats. Winners of the group. And I think what we'll start off by talking about, we'll talk about all three maps, but we'll start off by talking about the fact that community and experts alike have kind of called into question mYinsanity's form. It's been a little bit up and down. Do you deserve to be in the top 4? Is this a statement of intent?
Like I hear that all the time, actually. And looking at our online results, I have to agree. There's a lot of up and down, but I think offline we always prove, and we did it again. So I'm very happy the way we perform right now.
Yeah. So top 4 guaranteed. That's all good. Let's talk about the match itself, because it was an up and down match actually. Game 1, from your point of view, everything must have gone pretty well. Can you think back that far? I know it's a long time ago now.
I think it was Infernal Shrines, and we had Lunara, KT, Tassada or something. Like, we had a very, very good draft to clear the shrines, like the skeletons. And I think we got almost every Punisher. And if that happens on the map, you eventually will win. I think we didn't feed, so like it was a very clear play by us and very good draft, I think.
And then game 2, Blackhearts, was an intense game. From our point of view, watching up here, head in hands at some points. And from your point of view as a player, what was it like? Because 2% left and you would have won. I mean, it was a bit of a Hail Mary, we know that, but there was no other option, right?
Yeah, the call was very clear, like we go for core and we will not attack anything else. That's what we did. It almost worked, but I mean, we obviously lost the game there, but we made a few mistakes before. I got picked off once, Darkmoor got picked off once, and even at the coring, I think I didn't play it that good because I died very early. I even got slowed by the keep. I think that's probably the one auto attack we needed, so we were pretty sad after it, but I mean, it doesn't really matter if it's 2-0 or 1-1 or 1-0 because...
But on the other hand, it was a game that you should have lost anyway, right? So if it had worked, you'd have been like, yay, we won 2-0 anyway.
Exactly. That's how.
So game 3, though, fantastic game from you guys.
Yes, I think the Li Ming pick was very good after the second ban phase for us. They banned Lunara. I guess they did it because they respected the pick we did twice before, and it was very clean actually. We got some good pickoffs, especially in the late game when we killed BKB. He was like trying to cancel the payment alone, but if you have Blessed Shield and Silence, he cannot do anything. So if we chain up the abilities, he dies, and it's a level 19 death. We just go for boss, and then we core with it, which we actually did. So it was very clean play by us, I think.
Looking forward, day off tomorrow now, and then come back on Championship Sunday to win the title, right?
Of course, yes.
All right. Simple as that. mYinsanity through to the top 4. Congrats to Hasselhoffs and his teammates. Let's go back to the desk.
So yeah, we've heard from Hazuops that they were very happy with their final performance on Tomb of the Spider Queen, and they will be back in the semifinals actually to face.
Win, in their words.
Yeah, and they're going to face one of the opponents from Group B, which is not going to be a very easy task because we do have those stacked names in there like Na'Vi, Dignitas, Fnatic, also the Sandwich Monkeys, which can always cause an uproar potentially. So how do you consider mYinsanity after showing such a good display against Team Liquid in the last game?
Well, this is I think it was mentioned quite well up there that people seem to keep underestimating mYinsanity. We're just like, oh, they're coming in as like good, but maybe not as good as some of the other teams, and yet they consistently play well. Like in the first game, their drafts especially seem to be quite strong in most of their games, and we've mentioned before their versatility in terms of their picks as well is also probably quite a bit above some of the other teams in Europe.
Dret, if you were an analyst for one of the teams in Group B, what would you actually take away from the mYinsanity best of threes that we've seen today, and maybe use and analyze to find counter strategies? How would you beat mYinsanity?
I think I would concentrate on wave clear. It seems like that's something that they're very heavily oriented on. Like, that's why they control the maps as heavily as they do. They never once fully committed to a pick style composition, even though Kel'Thas does provide the single target damage. They never like committed with like a Tronde as well as we saw in the last game.
Yeah.
They were always worried about the wave clear, and he accents that as well. And so I would be very worried about making sure that I can control the map physically just as well as they can, because it seemed like that was a little bit of the struggle when it came to the last map. If you weren't effective with your picks, then you just pretty much can't do anything, especially on small maps like Tomb.
Right. Someone I also wanted to highlight from the last match in particular was Blumby. His Johanna was on point. He basically laid the foundation on killing BKB during that fight with a Blessed Shield. So I really want to say that his flanking maneuvers and his on-pointness with his heroic abilities basically was a huge factor why mYinsanity got where they ended up.
Yep, I would agree. He was a very much a well-played warrior in that game. He led his team in the fights, and he was able to give his team lots of chances to escape when they got counter-engaged upon, including by that surprise Great Main.
Also, I'm not sure if Splendor has missed any Ancestor Healings today.
I don't think he has.
He has been known for that at some point, that his Ancestor Healings were sometimes a little bit late, but up to this point, they were really, really solid, always saving team members in need. So definitely kudos to him. And also playing a really solid Kharazim there.
Yeah. Completely agree. There's not much to say on that one. He's just been on point with everything he's done.
It's basically like almost he is the backbone of the team that it gets forgotten, because support players tend to be overlooked sometimes.
There have been actually the cleanses this tournament. Actually, there have been godlike cleanses left and right that I feel like they have been very easily neglected and like kind of overlooked. So yeah, support players, they carry the team. Just nobody realizes it.
They're always there when you need them. Exactly. For Team Liquid, though, it's not really entirely over just yet. They do have another chance to redeem themselves and make it to the semifinals on Sunday. What would you say are Team Liquid's best bets right now? What do they need to improve on? I mean, they're probably going to play one of the teams that they have beaten already. So is it going to be easier for them, or is it going to be harder because they have to get out of this motivational hole?
I definitely think if they're definitely focused, then I think they're going to have a good time. They're going to have a good time if they can focus a bit, maybe look at their drafts from the previous series and work out where it went wrong in those. Then I think they're going to be pretty solid going up into the next series. But it depends who they'll go up against. It's going to be cool to see.
Yeah, talking about the next series, it is going to be casual gaming against the Silenced Monkeys. The two losers from the first series will now dug it out between each other. So after a short break, guys, we're going to be back with another series. Stay tuned and use the hashtag HGC on Twitter if you want to become a part of the whole goodness that is the European Heroes of the Storm regional championship here. So stay tuned and see you in a bit.